I look in the mirror and barely know myself. Lines growing clearer. I think I need some help. I swear. I'm going out my head. Feels like the world is falling. I'm going out my head. Destiny is short enough calling. I look at the wall, but I can't tell the time. A child of the fall. I need some grand design. I look to the sky and pray to the great unseen. I don't wanna die. I wanna live as sure as I believe. I swear. I'm going out my head. Feels like the world is falling. I'm going out my head. Destiny is short enough calling. I'm going out my head. Feels like the world is falling. I'm going out my head. Can't you hear the Savior calling? Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto. Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. I swear. Going out my head.
Oxford, and the search continues for a fourth suspect. After a shooting occurred over the weekend outside of a liquor store, authorities say that 2 vehicles with people inside them were hit by the bullets when the shooting erupted. 1 person had to be treated at a hospital. 2 juveniles under the age of 18 and 1 18-year-old from Madison have now been arrested and charged. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
For many homeowners, there's untapped reserves hiding in plain sight. It's not in the savings account. It's not in the stock market. It's right under your roof. Now more than ever, homeowners are sitting on record levels of home equity, and that equity belongs to you. It can be used to consolidate high-interest credit card debt, to pay expensive school tuition, to cover medical expenses, to invest in renovations, you name it, because that money is yours. This isn't about taking on unnecessary debt. It's about using an asset you already own to improve your financial position and your quality of life. The key is understanding your options and choosing the strategy that fits your goals. Let's see what's possible with the equity in your home. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Frank Bertarelli with Zap Pest Control. We're here today to thank Blue Water Broadcasting. We're now over 31 years in business. If you don't believe in radio advertisement, give these guys a chance. You won't be disappointed. Zap Pest Control is still on the move today, thanks to the friendships we've made with Blue Water Broadcasting.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show, and Montgomery needs a new mayor, folks. Troy Carrico in the studio with me. How you doing today?
Top of the afternoon or morning to you. What's going on, buddy?
Well, kicking off another week, and of course, as is now my tradition on Mondays, I want to take the folks to church for a second.
I think it's a great
But this
idea.
one intersects with politics a great deal.
Okay.
You know what? I've been thinking about this for a while, so I'm just going to come out and say it. But first, you remember the scene in the book of Exodus? Not where Moses, parts the Red Sea, which is pretty cool, or turns the rivers to blood, or all the locusts, or, the death of the firstborn with the angel of death.
Yes.
Or even the manna falling down from heaven like dew, and
They didn't appreciate
folks going,
that,
they didn't.
Just didn't appreciate that.
They just didn't appreciate it.
What
But
part
no.
are we, what part are we getting
Remember
at?
the golden calf?
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. Yeah, it's a bail.
Yeah, this is Exodus 32:4-6. Now, he took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. What did he take from them? It was all the spoils from Egypt. So it was victory from liberation, and God made it to where the Egyptians gave up a great deal of their jewelry and stuff. So he took what they handed him,
Yep.
this is Aaron, and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. Then they said, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of the calf and announced, "Tomorrow there will be a festival to the Lord." So they still think they're honoring the God who saved them. But so the next day, the people rose early and sacrificed burnt offerings and presented fellowship offerings. Afterwards, they sat down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. That's Exodus 32, 4 through 6. I believe I used the NIV translation for this one.
That's fine.
And then, of course, Moses on the mountain. God's like, hey, you want to hear what they just did down there?
What?
Just wanted to set that up. That's the scene.
Excellent.
Well, you'll get what I'm doing in a moment. Because often we think of, everybody knows Moses letting the people go out of Egypt.
Right.
Yeah.
Charlton Heston style.
Pharaoh and all.
Yeah.
Right. Since the United States Supreme Court handed down their decision in Louisiana v. Calais,
Yes.
Alabama Democrats have been acting as if Pharaoh returned to once again rule over God's chosen people. Yet the liberation themes of Exodus seem to be failing them. Perhaps Alabama Democrats should consider the court's ruling less a Moses let my people go moment and more akin to the circumcised Jewish believers in Jesus in Jerusalem. This is after Peter comes back preaching to the Gentiles. But those Jewish believers in Jerusalem saying in the book of Acts, so then even to Gentiles God has granted repentance. Instead of let my people go moment, maybe this is a so then even the Gentiles God has granted repentance moment. Yet Alabama Democrats just can't quit their tired refrain that they, the chosen people, are entitled by past injustices to a certain number of political wins. And that to solve their ills today, they just need a bit more liberation from the other side's bygone sins. Perhaps Alabama Democrats should read the book of Exodus again. Though a story of liberation from slavery and oppression, it is also a story of a people set free only to find themselves lost and grumbling in the wilderness, beset on all sides by their own grievance, impatience, and idolatry. No wonder Alabama Democrats' shouts of Reconstruction, Jim Crow, George Wallace, and white supremacy now lack potency. They pretend they're still in Egypt when they've been wandering with the promised land right under their feet, a brotherhood bound to reenacting their bondage for the sake of solidarity. And that is the real tragedy, truly a real tragedy. The racial solidarity Black Americans, particularly Alabamians, discovered out of a political necessity when their ancestors were truly under siege. That solidarity has today become a golden calf for state and national Democrats. Too many Democrats truly believe the politics of racial identity are the gods that brought them up out of Egypt instead of the word of God. They build statues to it. They hold festivals. They eat and drink, dance and sing in revelry to commemorate past sacrifices and political victories, and they are uncharitably swift to say all who disagree with their politics are on the wrong side of history. Yet politics can never truly set men free, and history is a poor judge of men, as both politics and history are always downstream from each man's responsibility to obey God's will and avoid the temptation of sin. And on this front, political idolatry isn't unique to Alabama's Democrat Party, though not all idols are the same. The Alabama GOP, or any ruling majority, locally or nationally, should also be wary in believing their political victories are the bread that feeds the hungry, waters the thirsty, or cares for the sick, imprisoned, and forgotten. It would be an even more tragic mistake for the majority to attribute their own racial solidarity as the organizing principle, source, or strength of their civilization rather than obedience to God. That civil authorities have an ordained role to uphold justice and promote the common good is undoubtedly true. Yet all of us engaged in the political game must remain vigilant not to confuse our past and present victories with fulfilled responsibilities or assume the worst of our foes when we lose. If Alabama Democrats and the rest of us are to reclaim the liberation themes of Exodus again, it's best to remember the repentance on offer to all individuals regardless of race or ancestral sins. That freedom is first won by much more than political representation or electoral wins. Wherever political authorities succeed in bringing about justice and tranquility, wherever men are set free from oppression and tyranny, wherever prosperity grows and men find themselves in true orderly fraternity, the victory does not belong to any party or race, to anything crafted from the spoils of men. All such glories belong to God, who liberates us from the slavery of our sin, if only we each repent of our idols, pick up our cross, and follow him. Speaking at the 1962 National Baptist Convention during the growing civil rights movement, Reverend Joseph H. Jackson, a dogged rival at the time, to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., captured this vision well. Quoting Reverend Joseph H. Jackson, "Remember, my friends, that no people have ever been given their independence simply on petition, and no race has come to its deserved heights of equality by resolutions adopted by powerful assemblies, and no people have ever been fully emancipated by the mere writing of new laws or the amendments of old ones. Neither have any struggling people been moved to the unquestioned heights of freedom by the verdicts of courts or the rulings of judges, however lofty and far-reaching the verdicts might be. Freedmen are not really free until they learn to exercise their new acquired opportunities to gain for themselves economic, intellectual, political, moral, and spiritual independence and self-reliance. For hands freed of manacles and feet liberated from chains will atrophy and will grow weaker still unless employed immediately and constantly in the pursuit of freedom and in the task of human betterment, moral, and spiritual uplift." Now, notice, folks, I said Alabama Democrats and national Democrats, for that matter, have made a golden calf out of race and racial solidarity. I think there are a lot of folks. You look at the turnout rates, the voter turnout rates for elections.
Atrocious.
And those who vote, say in the black community, vote 90% Democrat.
Sure.
And probably because, you feel like you have no other choice. I get it. Think about all the folks who just don't even have time for politicians, who are making their way in the world.
That's right.
Of all different backgrounds. And, the politicians have a role to play. Like I said, civil authorities and governments have a role to play. But I think we put too much on them. What's that line I always use?
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
We shouldn't expect too much of them. We should expect them to do their role, which will always have a little bit of corruption going on with it and gamesmanship going on to it. And would you believe that political parties, whether Republican or Democrat, want to win?
Yes.
And we got plenty of that to cover today, but I wanted to clear my throat and start with that on this Monday. Again, thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully there'll be a beautiful show, and Montgomery needs a new mayor. Now, in other news, did you see Trump's very upset with the Iranians again?
Yeah. This is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Thank you for your attention.
He was asked recently, how's the ceasefire going? He goes, life support. It's on life support. So Iran apparently made demands for war reparations and complete control over Hormuz. And apparently they agreed to not enrich at all, and then 2 days later changed their mind.
Right. They said not 20 years. We'll just do it for a brief period, and then,
Yeah, so, and Trump today was in the Oval Office citing a new thing. They've created a website called moms.gov.
Moms?
Moms.gov.
What's that about?
And, it's issuing a new rule to formally create a fertility benefit option for employers that can be offered to all employees outside of their normal health insurance plans. It'll be a major help for millions of American moms that result in more beautiful American babies.
I like it.
And then Trump, while he was at that press conference, also spoke about the Iran stuff. But he first mentioned Iran because Trump wasn't by himself. In fact, in that room, there's Bobby Kennedy. But there are also many moms. And I think I recognize one of the moms.
Oh, is it Carolyn Levitt?
No, it's not Caroline Levitt. She's still.
Had a baby. She just had her baby.
That just happened.
You see the Iranians, what they said about her?
No.
They said you better be careful. It'd be something happened to that baby. You'd be careful.
Which Iranians? Who's in charge over there?
IRGC, probably MOIS, probably put out some PSYOP stuff. It was terrible.
But no, you can probably pull up on the screen here. You recognize that mom?
Yeah, there's Katie. Hey, Katie.
Senator Katie Britt. Well, here's Trump ending his remarks about doing this new tax credit and moms.gov. Don't go to moms.com. That might be different. Moms.gov.
That's part of a private chat.
But here's Trump before he hands it over to, in particular, Senator Britt.
And you'll speak not too long because I am being waited on by a large group of generals.
Why does he sound like Lorne Michaels or Dr. Evil? Hold on.
Too long because
I'm being waited on.
I am being waited on by a large group of generals, and That's also important, having to do
That it is. Well,
having to do with the absolutely lovely country of Iran. That's
right.
the way they pronounce it.
That's the way
We will be brief, she said.
So let's listen in to Katie, see how brief she was. But yeah, standing right there behind the president, he sits at the desk. And this is something that I think everybody who's having kids, especially if you're an employer, and you're also dealing with the fact that, like, you can't lose somebody for a while. Like, it does cut into bottom line. Like, all these things are factors. So here is Senator from our hometown of Montgomery. Let's listen in. Katie Britt.
This is another example of promises made, promises kept. I mean, we look at what President Trump did when we dealt with this issue in Alabama. He stepped up to the plate immediately to make sure that we had nationwide access to IVF, to making sure that we had comprehensive fertility treatment, so that men and women, couples who were longing for their child, could continue to have that hope and also have that reality. Today doubles down on that yet again. I mean, we see the savings that have happened across the country, and I've had more and more people come up to me and tell me a story about what it has saved them. But we also know that there was opportunity for continued growth. President Trump saw that and he acted on it. So now more people are going to have access through their employer, just like they would dental or vision insurance. And there are people right now who this is out of reach because of affordability, and President Trump is bringing that back in. When you look at the comprehensive nature of what we're doing today and coming on the heels of Mother's Day, I mean, we are thrilled to support mothers everywhere. Whether it's that mom that is getting to experience growing life for the very first
I'm sorry,
time.
folks, if you're just listening, we're about a minute in. This is a 3.5 minute clip, and I'm getting such a kick out of watching Trump.
Okay, we're done.
Trump, listen, like, that's
I have generals waiting on for me, Katie.
All right, I'm going to bomb the crap out of it.
We're the one chasing toddlers or wrangling teenagers or being there when their adult child calls for advice. Moms are the heartbeats of our families, our communities, and our country. President Trump knows that, and he's made sure we've created a comprehensive culture of life. That's what you see right now with moms.gov. Moms.gov was something that then Senator Rubio and I talked about doing with Senator Kramer and now Senator Schmidt, but of course, President Trump is actually the one that put it into action. It supports moms through the prenatal, postpartum, and early
He's falling asleep.
development.
He's falling asleep. He was.
Also, as we tackle rural health, look, I stand up here in front of you not only as a mom of two, but also as someone who lives in the great state of Alabama, where about 28% of women live in a maternal care desert. The work that we did in the Working Families Tax Cuts, guys, that hits it head on. We have an opportunity now to reach those who haven't been reached. When we look at maternal mortality rates, we continue to invest both in the research that will help us resolve that issue, but also in the women that deal with so many issues during their pregnancy. We want them to be supported. And then in addition to all of that, childcare. So we know last year alone, you had about 455,000 women leave the workforce due to affordability and accessibility of childcare. We've often said, and the president and I have talked about this, if you have or want the opportunity to stay home, we want that for you. But if you want or need the opportunity to re-enter the workforce and want to be a part of building back America, like President Trump is doing, we don't want affordability or accessibility to be an impediment to that. So not only at his direction, and I was proud to lead the effort in the Working Families Tax Cuts to modernize the tax code to make sure that childcare was front and center for the first time since Ronald Reagan, sir, you're the first one to do it. But today, that comprehensive nature of whether you're staying home or you're in a faith-based provider or you have a child care center that you lovingly send your child to during the day as you work to provide for your family. Today, that is easier as a result, and we are proud of what that means for the economy. We know 24% of young families spend about 24% of their annual income on child care. So, Mr. President, thank you for all that you've done creating a comprehensive culture of life. This is really groundbreaking.
Thank you, Katie.
No, and actually, it was a great summation of what they just signed, and I think it's a great issue.
She's very good.
But I was getting a kick out of Trump, just like, I gotta go talk to generals here in a second.
He's thinking about, I'm gonna bomb the hell.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
They embarrass me like that again on the stage.
Yeah, you got to wonder what is next in that, because I mean, Trump went on. He kept the meeting going, and before I get to what he mentioned about Iran, in the same setting, he mentioned a new nickname. It's not the most creative, but I think the bra fits or the shoe fits or whatever.
Okay.
For the Democrats.
And
not national Democrats. So let's listen into Trump. He's come up with a new, straightforward name that I think everybody can understand.
I was hunted by some very bad people. Now I'm the hunter. It's much better when you're the hunter. But these are bad people, and they'll give you no support at all, no matter how good it is. I mean, as an example, I don't know what the numbers are, but if we go to Congress to get something approved, which we get, but you can say that we're going to reduce drug prices by 80%, and we won't get one Democrat vote. Yeah. I don't know how they get away with it. That's why we call them the Democrats. We have a new name. The Democrats. Because they're dumb. They're dumb people.
Hold on, let's back that up. Hold on. He's explaining it.
The Democrats. We have a new name. They're Democrats because they're dumb. They're dumb people. And they just can't do it. I've been waiting so long for them to change, but they just keep losing, and they're going to keep losing with their policies.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't think, I was talking to my uncle this morning about will America ever get back to a more reasonable, kind of gracious. I'm like, not for the time being. I think we're going through necessary growing pains at the moment.
Yeah, I just wrote a piece on Substack about that, and it kind of fed into your story. It's interesting what you picked today for your reading because mine was a spiritual kind of influenced as well. So, yeah.
So here's Trump being asked about Iran in this same setting. By the way, we have, I believe, Dr. Stuart Tankersley stopping by at 1 o'clock. He's, of course, running for Lieutenant Governor.
That's right, he is.
So I look forward to talking to Stuart Tankersley at that time. And if you got any questions, please hop on in.
I'll talk to him about some of my prescriptions that he didn't get sent in.
Is he both our doctor?
Yeah, he's my doctor.
Yeah, he's my doctor, too. So we got to be, straight up about that.
So let me tell you a funny story. My son we changed doctors because we had our doctor, one of the doctors retired, the other bad. So knew Stuart from my time with the Admiral and all that. And I just said, hey, are you taking new patients? He goes, for you guys, yeah. So we bring him in, and my son is in there. And my son is talking to him. And you know how Stuart, he'll go down the checklist. He's very thorough. Very thorough. Loves Stuart Tankersley. And Joey says he gets to, are you going to church? And Joey goes, well, I mean, I went to church, but I'm not currently going now. And he goes, he doesn't even look up, and he goes, that's not good, and checks something.
Uh-oh.
And Joey goes, are you kidding me? I said, you need to listen to him. He cares about your health, not just your physical, health, your spiritual health.
But your son's name's Joey?
Jeremiah.
Oh, Jeremiah.
Did I say Joey?
Yeah.
I don't
freaking me out, man.
I don't think of you as a son.
You're freaking me out, man.
If you were my son. So.
I got a bunch of surrogate dads.
Well, I love you, brother. You know that. So
the feeling's mutual. Now, so Tankersley will join us at 1, running for Lieutenant Governor. Look forward to talking about that race. And then at 2, we had Gary Palmer on last week. I think we had a great discussion with Gary, and we will have Case Dixon, who is running against Gary in that primary. On May the 19th, though, who knows what will happen with the redistricting and these court cases that are in the air after, I think we're supposed to hear something by 5 o'clock today.
Yes, that's what Thomas issued out. By the way, Elizondo is really willing to come on this Friday if we have time to carve it in for an hour. Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff for us. So.
That'd be great. So anyway, setting the table here, we've got a packed show. But here is Trump in that same setting with all these lovely ladies above him, framing him in the shot, and
generals waiting.
Generals, it's a very important thing, so don't talk too long. All right.
With them 4 or 5 times, they change their mind.
Talking about Iran.
Yeah, they're very dishonorable people. The leadership. Yes, they are. Don't forget it's the 3rd level. The 1st level is God. They were unreasonable. The 2nd level is more reasonable. The 3rd level, nobody wants to be president. You know. They say, who wants to be president? There's nobody raises their hand. But they change their mind. I've had that in business many times. The mind changes, you call them. These people that you make a deal, and then the next day they send you a document that takes 5 days to get there when it should have been there in 20 minutes. It's a pretty simple document.
Yeah.
They will never have a nuclear weapon, yeah? Look, I've had to deal with them.
And he keeps saying that, by the way.
No, he means that.
That is the main bottom line for him. And it's searching for a deal. And that's what's probably so frustrating is the mind changers.
It is. And if you listen to Bibi, which I know you did over the weekend, you hear what he said a lot of really powerful things. One, that he wants to get off American dependency and dollar. But he also said, this war's not over, he said. That's exactly what he said. It was very clear.
He still thinks there can be regime change.
Right.
Now, I don't know.
There needs
perhaps. I'm not on the ground looking at it. Yeah. I think from this perspective, I'm just watching as a spectator. But, you know, if you pull it off, like, well, what do you mean by regime change? And right now, the regime in Iran is incredibly decimated.
It is.
And it makes them a tough negotiating partner. Here's another, for instance.
Sir, are you saying the Iranians agreed to allow the removal of all their enriched uranium?
Yeah. Well, they did it 2 days ago. They didn't, okay? They did 2 days ago. They said, you're going to have to take it. We were going to go with them, but they changed their mind because they didn't put it in the paper. So when they sent us this document that we waited 4 days for, that should have taken 10 minutes to do, look, very simple. We get that. They guarantee no nuclear weapons for a very long period of time, and a couple of other minor things, but they just can't get there. So they agree with us, and then they take it back. They said to us that it was so badly obliterated, it was the word they actually used, that was my original word, that it got challenged by some of the fake news. And it wasn't challenged with any knowledge, it was just challenged like they were hoping that this wouldn't have been so successful. No, it was obliterated. We have the greatest military in the world. I built it largely in my first term, and I didn't know I'd be using it quite this much in my second term.
So he still seems to have this confidence and swagger about him, but that does have to, you got to wonder, okay, the negotiators in the room, it sounds like, are, okay, yeah, we agree to this, they go back, and the hardliners are raising hell, literally hell on earth in their own country.
So we've talked about this a lot. The mindset of the Arab or the Persian or the Muslim, and typically in Takaya, the ideal that deny, change, modify, inshallah, maybe not, that's worked for them for 50 plus years.
And you know this from first-hand, on-the-ground experience.
I have sat down, broke bread with many powerful people in the Arab world and the Persian world. Particularly Shia was my primary focus of effort when I was running human intelligence source operations. I know how they operate. Yeah. They will smile to you. And I'm telling you, they view us as weak right now, and that they can't. Did you see what else they said? Well, we'll open the straits gradually under our terms. No, that's not going to work.
Well, that continues to go on in it's May the 11th?
It's the 11th of May.
It's dragging on a bit.
Well, you know,
and
I don't want to see any more violence, but I'm telling you, it's going to have to come to a final upheaval over that existing regime of IRGC and MIS and the besiege.
And Trump also called for the Congress, and maybe he can do it on his own, but called to suspend the federal gas tax for a period of time.
I saw that.
Saying, I think it's a great idea. Yep, we're going to take off the gas tax for a period of time, and when gas goes down, we'll let it phase back in. Yeah, and it was, one spot it was like only $3.70 something on Perry Hill there.
Yeah, I saw that.
But mostly it's over $4 in most places. And that's 87. Like, you got to fill up 89 or higher. Like, you're still over $4. And it's just, I can't imagine also filling up a massive truck right now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think the big win here is if we're talking about suspending the federal gas tax. Right now, that's 24.4 cents a gallon on regular. It's almost $1 on diesel. That's why diesel's so high. And by the way, that dollar coming down would be enormous on the consumer price index for everything you're buying at stores. So it would be a good thing.
Well, we got to hit this break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And their Pest Pro, Ashley and that great team can help you out. If you are looking for a great local trusted success story of a company, that's Pest Pro Services. Started out of the pandemic, and they've grown from 2 people to an entire team.
It's amazing.
Excellent service, whether you're looking for just basic pest control needs, get on their monthly subscription model. Great way to control cost, actually budget for very good pest control across the year. And then, of course, you could add on to that termite protection, inspection, mosquito protection. Hey, a little critter gets in, tries to make a home out of your home, then get it out of there. Right. Whether it's a squirrel or a bird or whatever's in your crawl space. So y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. They have a very active Facebook page, by the way. And, of course, you could always call them direct, start the conversation at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Best Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joe and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish. But if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck. Because at Prattville Carpet, you can revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available with perfect and professional installation and Prattville's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Start shopping for your floors right now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama Sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms to apply.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to schedule your spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give them a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 88007.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a pretty good start to the week. There'll be a sun and cloud mix today. A warm day with a high temperature in the lower 80s. I can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm somewhere in the area later on this afternoon, but the chances are very small. Tonight, cloudy at times, then mostly clear later. Overnight low temperature down to about 60. Mostly sunny with lower 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. An extended period of storm-free days and comfortable nights. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray Publix.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico in the studio with me, and did you see that the media was trying to really take on the Speaker of the House, twist his words, Nathaniel Ledbetter?
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was not happy about that.
He should, yeah, I'm sure he wasn't.
And he calls it a total lie. Following last week's contentious special session, House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter was hit with racist accusations, shocking, over a misconstrued comment he made about the state's voting map situation. Lawmakers advanced 2 pieces of legislation last week that would compel a special election in specific congressional and state Senate districts should the U.S. Supreme Court remove injunctions currently blocking legislatively drawn maps. The special session was called after the 6-3 majority ruling in Louisiana v. Calais, in which the U.S. Supreme Court held that race-based redistricting is, in fact, unconstitutional. Alabama swiftly reacted, filing motions to have the injunction on the congressional and state Senate maps approved by lawmakers lifted. The 2023 congressional map followed the 2021 initial map, which a federal court blocked, forcing lawmakers to redraw it. Despite the redrawing, a 3-judge panel likewise found that the 2023 map likely violated the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Alabama State Senate map faces a similar injunction, which the state is also challenging. The session drew predictable accusations of racism against the Republican-led legislature and threats of legal action from the state's Democrats. The statement that drew the most ire came as Ledbetter was discussing legislative efforts to reinstate those maps, saying, quote, "It gives us a chance to look at all of them. If we get some reprieve from the court, so we'll see how that goes and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14. He continued a few sentences later. All we need now is the courts to overturn 14 and we can look at a new election. Later in the press briefing, Ledbetter clarified his statements. He described the court's actions taken against the state, mistakenly called Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Amendment 2. He again referred only to Amendment 14, citing the injunction against the congressional map, which plaintiffs argue violate the 14th Amendment. Ledbetter then turned the question over to the congressional map bill sponsor, House Pro Tem Chris Pringle from Mobile, saying he could probably speak to it better than me. Yep. The courts, just like Louisiana, said Alabama's Section 2 violation arose to a 14th Amendment violation, Pringle said. The explanation wasn't good enough for AL.com's Kyle Whitmire, who managed to turn 2 short sentences into a 600-word screed against Ledbetter, which, honestly, there's a certain talent in that. I have to give Whitmire his due. Whether Ledbetter's use of the term 14 was verbal shorthand or a plain misstatement, Whitmire painted the slip up as the spontaneous confession of a man possessed by George Wallace's pre-Enlightenment spirit, despite acknowledging the subsequent clarification in his story. Other left-wing lawmakers and advocacy organizations accused the speaker of wanting to remove the rights of blacks in this country, an argument they also made about the legislation in general throughout the special session. State Rep. Wanda Van, who I still like, despite her spat with the police. She shouldn't be fighting with those. Those are nice guys. I saw them every Wednesday morning. They're nice fellas.
When SB 67 went on, I had some interaction with Gavan, and there's a lot of people though that are up at that. The letter she wrote about white people was not good.
I still love her anyway.
Yeah,
she's still a
very
child
interesting.
of God.
I find her very interesting, but she's kind of she's kind of on the edge sometimes.
There's just some stuff where
you think she's going to be mayor? Will she win mayor of Birmingham?
Probably not.
I didn't think so.
Probably not.
I was just curious.
But she shared a picture stating that Ledbetter had called for overturning the 14th Amendment.
I saw that.
So far we've heard like they're going to bring back counting the number of marbles, jelly beans in a jar, literacy test, all sorts. No, we're not. The court didn't touch any of that.
Sicking dogs.
Nobody wants to do any of that. This is what I mean by the golden calf. Indivisible Mobile, a South Alabama-based offshoot of the National Advocacy Organization, or Advocacy, see, I couldn't pass a literary test. See, I didn't even say it right there either.
I didn't.
But they made the same claim there at Indivisible Mobile. The POS Speaker of the House, Nathaniel Ledbetter, just said out loud that he hopes the Supreme Court will overturn the 14th Amendment. If everyone, actually, didn't the Supreme Court use 14th Amendment arguments against the racial gerrymandering of districts?
They used it as part of their legal...
that you can't have a group entitlement on an immutable characteristic because that runs up against all the individual right protections of the 14th Amendment. Interesting.
How's that work?
But if everyone in this group, which is nearly 2,000 people, would make a phone call and send an email and send a letter, which could be just a few words on a sheet of paper, thank you for explaining that, what a letter is, he would know what we think of that. Alabama's 2023 congressional map currently has a Section 2 VRA and 14th Amendment violation against it, Ledbetter said. This is what he said on social media later. I simply stated that we want those violations lifted so we can move forward with our 2023 congressional map, not that the 14th Amendment needs to be removed from the U.S. Constitution. This is a total lie and is refuted by my comments in Friday's press conference, which are on video for anyone to see. Unfortunately, this blatant attempt to misconstrue my comments cause division and attack my character is a perfect example of why people struggle to trust certain media outlets in this day and age. It's part of the.
I wrote him today, and I said essentially, after he came out with that I guess the disclaimer on the 14th Amendment, because it's being misconstrued. I said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I said, you'll be voted out when Tommy comes here. You will be gone, and you can always run. I said you can run under the Democratic Party because that's what you are. You're a yellow-bellied Dixiecrat.
That's exactly what's so funny about this is Ledbetter's now getting it from both sides.
He's getting it from. I know he is.
Yeah, from the right and from the left.
You can't serve two masters.
Yeah, well, maybe it means they actually did something. Possibly. But maybe not enough, but we'll see. But I think 7-0 is coming down the road.
It is.
But also in Alabama-based news, we have two Senate stories here. One is Jared Hudson.
Yes.
The other, Barry Moore.
Yeah.
And Trump reaffirms his endorsement of Barry Moore as the primary approaches. He put out there that Barry Moore running for United States Senate is the great in the great state of Alabama, in one of my all-time favorites, is a fantastic guy and a totally reliable MAGA warrior. He has my complete and total endorsement. He will never let you down. Win, Barry, win. So Trump kind of putting it out there, hey, this is my guy. This is a guy I want you to back. Barry Moore said in response, grateful to President Trump for his unwavering support in our race for U.S. Senate. I'm proud to be the only candidate in this race with the president's complete and total endorsement. I've stood with him since day one, and he's standing with us as we run through the tape on May 19th. Of course, Barry Moore is going up against Attorney General Steve Marshall, who's been getting, rightfully so, a lot of press lately.
Sure.
With this Supreme Court ruling and these moves the state of Alabama wants to make. And also, of course, retired Navy SEAL Jared Hudson. And the guy we talked to a few weeks back, Lionville businessman Rodney Walker, who I like very much, but I don't know if Rodney's got the attention to pull that one off.
He's got the money, but he's not really got, I think, the organization to do it.
Right.
So.
But Rodney Walker was great, easy to talk to, and I think an insightful dude. But here Jared Hudson is saying he's responded over the weekend to attack ads from a Washington, D.C. Political Action Committee, a PAC, claiming he's working against Trump. The ad by American Values First PAC also claims Hudson is wrong for Alabama. It cites an April article by 1819 News where Hudson said, the filibuster right now is the only shield that we have if you're not in the majority. I believe keeping the filibuster is good, but this is the change that we have to make. We have to end the silent filibuster and the zombie filibuster. Senators can't just signal to filibuster and then not show up. Hudson said in a statement that the PAC's negative ads were a response to his momentum in the race. The Republican primary, of course, is May the 19th, but again, this one won't be changed. It's only the congressional ones, or the House seats.
Yes.
He said, I guess we've got the political insiders a little nervous. Jared Hudson goes on to say, you can always tell when your message is resonating because suddenly the shady outside groups start spending money on ridiculous attack ads.
Yep.
This is the kind of stuff people hate about politics, Hudson said. Outside groups most Alabama voters have never even heard of show up, twist the facts around, and hope nobody notices. It'd almost be funny if it wasn't so predictable. He goes on to say, I'm a Homeland Security Investigations Task Force officer and an Alabama Sheriff's deputy. So the idea that I'm somehow weak on crime doesn't even pass the laugh test, because the ad painted him as weak on crime and public safety. It defies common sense, and honestly, it's insulting to Alabama voters who are smart enough to see through this nonsense. Hudson reiterated his support for strong border security and the SAVE Act. My position is pretty simple, he said. Secure the border, deport criminal illegal aliens, put Americans first. And yes, only American citizens should vote in American elections. And that's why I support the SAVE Act, apparently saying things that normal people agree with, as the insiders in Washington panicking. The more our campaign grows, the more nonsense like this we're going to see. That's fine. While they focus on attack ads, I'm going to keep talking to Alabama voters about the issues that actually matter. So a couple of Senate stories there for you folks. And if you had to guess who gets in the runoff, because I don't think anybody's winning this thing outright.
I think
Barry's in there.
I think Barry's in, and I think Jared. I think
Jared's going to squeak out.
I really do. Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. And no offense, Steve. I like Steve Marshall very much.
I like Steve too, but I think that people are looking for someone maybe that's going to be like a Tommy Tuberville and really be conservative. And I don't know if Steve Marshall's the right guy. He's done a good job, though, handling this. He sees opportunity, obviously, I would think. And Kathleen Robertson have been saying the right things about this redistricting. So maybe he'll get a bump from that. I don't know.
Speaking of Steve Marshall, we got some news that just dropped.
What?
And actually, it's like Alan Mendenhall's in everybody's brain. But Steve Marshall announced a state civil investigation into Southern Poverty Law Center.
Good.
Well, let's make it criminal.
No, that's exactly what he's
But
saying.
Marshall says the investigation is to whether the SPLC used deceptive fundraising practices under Alabama's consumer protection laws. A subpoena orders the SPLC to produce requested documents by June the 1st. So, more coming at the SPLC. And, of course, they'll have their day in court to argue that the informant program was completely on the up and up and we thwarted attacks.
They're still looking for a CEO.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's kind of like the Auburn coaching gig.
It is.
Like you get a big old
We'll do a
golden
year there
umbrella.
and go on your way.
All right. I stopped racism for a few years, and now I'm off the dole, and, well, I still don't like it. I'm just sitting back fishing.
That's right.
Anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, if you're a man and you just feel off, like you really feel like you don't have the pep in your step anymore, you're lacking confidence, completely shot through, not just in the bedroom, which is bad enough. It really is.
Yes, it is.
But across life. Like, could be a job you've been working for decades. Now you're second-guessing yourself all of a sudden. What in the world is that? You wake up in the morning and you're exhausted. You're like, didn't I lay down for 8 hours? No, it didn't feel like it. Well, if you have these sorts of issues, especially gaining that visceral fat around the belly, they have solutions there for you at Montgomery Men's Health. And, a lot of guys procrastinate and wait till the problem gets real bad. And then when they go to Montgomery Men's Health and actually get a treatment that works for them, they're like, why didn't I do this sooner? So don't be like that, gentlemen. Stop procrastinating. Get by there, and they can fix you up. And, in fact, I'm on it. I'm loving it. The peptide game they just introduced. You can actually get a monthly online subscription, say something like Samorlin or NAD+. And then you can actually pick it up here or consult with them locally in person, so it's the best of both worlds. Nice. And in particular, I love the peptide I'm taking to up my energy. I feel better in the gym. Good. It helps with the weight loss process for certain. So whatever your needs are, it could be you got some deep, bad problems you've been putting off for a while. It could be you just want a little extra edge. Check out Montgomery Men's Health today. You can always call them direct at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. It's Montgomery Men's Health for every man in every season of life. Be sure to tell him that Joey Clark, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Behind every clean lobby, every polished boardroom, every safe, spotless workplace, there's Janie King Franchise Center who takes pride in making it happen. These are your neighbors, people who live here, work here, and care about the businesses that shape our community. They show up, they follow through, and they make sure your facility is ready for the day, every day. That's why companies across the community trust Janie King as their local cleaning partner. Visit JanieKingCleans.com today.
Lewis at the Capital Oyster Bar, and I just want to tell you, if you're in business or got an event coming up and want to do some advertising, wisely spent dollars are spent down here at Blue Water Broadcasting. All the guys are nice, easy to work with, and I see results, I guarantee you.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Barenko with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing today?
Having a great day, Joe. How are you?
Very good, better than I deserve. Say hi to Troy Carrico here. He's in studio with me.
Troy, what's going on, man?
What are you doing? You making the world safe for our financial markets out there?
That's what I try to do every day. Whether I do it or not, you be the judge, but I'm trying my best.
Now, you told me some news that I find somewhat disappointing, but it's true, and it's Jerome Powell and the signals he was sending last week. What's the Federal Reserve up to?
Yeah, so Jerome came out and basically laid the groundwork to shift to a more neutral policy stance rather than being dovish or looking for rate cuts. He kind of laid the groundwork for rate hikes coming through year end, which I think is directly related to what's going on in the Middle East. I know we kind of have repeated ourselves talking about what's going on in the Middle East, but it's directly in front of us, and it is causing economic instability in parts of the world, and that's starting to make its way over here. So in a nutshell, the spike in energy and oil is causing a perceived spike in the cost of all goods across the board because transporting those goods is more expensive now. And with that on the horizon, he is laying the groundwork for a neutral tone so that if needed, we can hike rates to offset inflation. And that's really all it boils down to. The Fed very rarely goes from cutting to hiking without laying the groundwork for neutrality first. And so his comments laying the groundwork for neutrality is basically a signal that, hey, although we're not seeing immediate inflation numbers show up, it's only a matter of time before the disruption in the Middle East and the price of oil is going to push raw goods higher. And in anticipation of that, we want to be prepared for a more hawkish tone to raise rates. And so we'll see. That's kind of what's going on, and we're watching it closely. But because it's neutral, we really don't know. And because he may not be there, in the next several months, it's really not necessarily his decision to make. I think that the new Fed chair, could end up changing policy slightly, but I don't think they're so far off base. I mean, most of those guys that sit on the board of governors at the Fed are analytical guys, and it's hard to look away from the data in this case. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier, it's May the 11th. This war seems to be dragging on and on, even though it's not as many bombs being dropped.
Yeah, it's definitely dragged on longer than we thought. I was hoping that, approaching midterms would be a catalyst to go ahead and nip this thing in the bud and move forward onto something else. But I understand the reason for it. I don't necessarily like it. We're knees deep now, so to pull out without accomplishing what we need to doesn't make much sense. Stay there till the job is done. But I don't think anybody likes it. I really don't even think Trump enjoys it. I think it's just a necessary process to complete to get stability in the region, long term. Short term, you could argue there was stability, but I think it was, puppet master behind the scenes, pulling the strings the way they like. And you can't have that for long-term stability. So I understand why it was done, but it's uncomfortable. And when these things happen, no one likes it, including the people that are involved.
Now, before I let you go, let's tell folks about Invista Advisors there in the group.
Yeah, so we're a registered investment advisory based out of East Montgomery over here, and we handle everything in the world of finance, whether it be preparing for college or taking care of aging parents or selling or buying a business, retirement planning, or as Eddie talked about last week, we do a lot of estate planning as well. So if you need an estate plan and kind of preparing for an end-of-life cycle for yourself or a parent, or if you're young and want to put a will in place and maybe set up some trust accounts so that your children are ready and prepared when you pass away, we handle that. And if you don't have a plan in place and you or a loved one has recently passed away, or a parent has passed away, and you're overwhelmed and don't know how to settle the estate, give us a call and we're happy to walk you through that as well.
And folks, you can always start that conversation at 387-0094. And when you call them up at 387-0094, be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin Barenko on the radio with Joey Clark.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joey and Troy, and y'all have a great day.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Again, that's Austin Branco with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing on the TV screen.
Very disgusting.
A trans athlete wins against girls at track meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sickening.
Some of these days.
Abomination before God.
Yeah, but just, I don't know. Keep on the straight and narrow, gentlemen, because you might be thinking exactly what Troy and I are thinking, then one night you end up tricked.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump says the Iran ceasefire is on life support after he rejected Tehran's latest proposal. Officials said the proposal had included some concessions on Iran's disputed nuclear program, but as of today, the president dismissed those claims as, in his words, garbage. The stalled diplomacy and recent exchanges of fire could tip the Middle East back into open warfare and prolong the worldwide energy crisis. Oil prices have been rising as the war with Iran threatens to drag on longer than expected, but U.S. stocks, nevertheless, are still inching toward what could become more record highs by the end of the day if they continue on their trajectory. Right now on Wall Street, it is a Dow back into positive territory. It's up by 47 points. The Nasdaq up 60, and the S&P 500 is up 21. This is SRN News.
There's a moment nobody talks about with weight loss. It's the moment it stops working. The diet that worked before doesn't. Eating less stops moving the scale. That's not random. When your body's under stress, it slows your metabolism. That's why quick fixes eventually fail. At PhD Weight Loss, they focus on restoring your metabolism. And right now, when you call and mention Mike G, you'll get 2 free weeks and they'll pay for the cost of your food. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a pretty good start to the week. There'll be a sun and cloud mix today, a warm day with a high temperature in the lower 80s. I can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm somewhere in the area later on this afternoon, but the chances are very small. Tonight, cloudy at times, then mostly clear later. Overnight low temperature down to about 60. Mostly sunny with lower 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. An extended period of storm-free days and comfortable nights. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. An investigation is underway after a man was shot and killed Saturday evening in downtown Montgomery. MPD responded to the 300 block of North Decatur Street around 6:30 where a man had been wounded by gunfire. The victim, who has not yet been identified, died at the scene. Suspect and motive unknown. No additional details have been made available. A Huntington College student died Sunday morning following a single-vehicle crash in Lee County. 21-year-old Aiden Doss, a member of the 2026 graduating class, was killed in an accident on County Road 95 just after midnight. He was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. Aiden Doss was a business major who played on the Huntington Hawks football team for the past 4 years. Montgomery firefighters battled a 2-alarm fire at a shopping center Saturday afternoon. The fire was reported around 2 p.m. just off Vaughn Road at a strip mall between Peppertree Lane and Halcyon Boulevard. Additional crews and equipment were dispatched to keep the fire from spreading to nearby buildings. No injuries were reported. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. What a good show so far. And, oh my goodness, in studio with us, and he's got his campaign sign and everything. We have Dr. Stuart Tankersley.
Yes, sir. Great to see you guys.
Hold it up again so the folks can see. I like that work. Yeah, for Lieutenant Governor. He's a candidate to be Lieutenant Governor of the great state here of Alabama. Full disclosure, he's both... don't worry about it, man. He is both Troy and I's doctor, yes, so we have to be. We have to share that with the audience.
Yeah, right.
He's just saying
he said that to everybody.
Just saying that.
To my patients.
So, number one, how's the campaign going?
It is going great. Boy, I've been drinking out of a fire hydrant the last 3 months, going on the trail all around the state, and it's just fun. I learned a lot about the local areas that I didn't know about, listening to the county commissioners or the school board members talking about things, and of course other statewide races. It's just great we got a great group of people that I hope, going back to your last for this show this past hour, we're going to reclaim a new future, and we got some wonderful potential candidates in all these different races that really want to take us there, and I'm excited about it. And of course with the heir apparent, looks like Tuberville doing it. Going to be in the big seat. I'm very optimistic. I think that a lot of corrective actions need to happen, and I'm looking forward to being part of the solution.
Now, what do you make of the recent ruling by the Supreme Court and what the legislature did last week?
Oh, I think it was. It's so tragic what's been going on. I looked it up. Somebody mentioned it a year ago, and then I looked it up last week. There are 0 Republicans in the 6 New England states in Congress.
That's right.
In the 6 New England, and some of them voted 48% for Trump.
That's true.
Right.
And 0 representation in Republicans from those. And it's just, the system's broken clearly, and that's why I'm running. Because I'm looking forward to helping. It's so many wonderful opportunities, and I think my 3 themes of my campaign, which are begin to restore trust in the government, which is at an all-time perpetual low, and then on top of that, affordability, which I'd like to talk about a little bit, and then health, being recruited a year and a half ago to work for RFK and up in D.C. I didn't want to move up there, but I've been talking to them, and they've got so many awesome things. And Alabama, unfortunately, public health has not been, for generations now, has not been our friend, it looks like. I mean, the evidence is clear. And so we're looking forward. And Senator Tuberville, coach, is looking forward to helping with health. It's one of his main themes, I think, as well. So, but in Montgomery, I don't talk about this around the state, but having worked on a Continental Command staff as an advisor to generals for 5 years in the Army, I understand how big organizations can work more effectively. And you need somebody in political positions that are going to take certain issues to heart. And my family having been here for over 200 years, since before the state was founded, what is going on in Montgomery, whether it's Jackson Hospital or the crime, of course, it's so rampant. We've got to have new leadership that's going to help the local leadership refocus on good ideas instead of perpetual failures.
I know you make Alabama healthy again. Talk a little bit about what that means.
Yeah. So rather than the old style of making people do things, I think central to all of MAHA, and MAHA is a bipartisan win. Yes. I mean, to me, it's the best thing overarching. If you look at foreign policy or or the big beautiful bill with the perpetuation of the debt or anything like that. But the one thing that I think the large majority of Americans, the polls show, wide majority of Republicans and Democrats support is the MAHA agenda, and its central, its approach is that of education. And one thing I learned in the last couple of months on the trail is we are really going to be able to help agriculture in our state, and the cattlemen and chicken farmers and those guys. It's going to be a big win getting people local good food, and there are good incentives for it. But you got to have leadership, number one, that knows what leadership is, but you got to have leadership that keeps the main thing the main thing. And I'm very much looking forward to those things, the 3 big things. But then locally, I will be, like with Senator Barfoot's bill that didn't go anywhere this year, I would certainly look forward to helping help him and others champion those types of changes, because the people and this isn't a Democrat-Republican issue. This is a bipartisan issue that, and I talk to patients all the time. I volunteer at the free clinic, and so demographics is really irrelevant. Everybody understands we have problems with the leadership locally, and I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can help give the leadership downtown a different perspective. But if not, we can hopefully move around them and past them to help this city, because we need it, and I'm looking forward to doing that.
So you mentioned trust, affordability, and health. Let's go to affordability. And so how do we bring down, say, gas prices, but more generally, how do we make things more affordable, not just energy costs?
Yeah, I think really health plays a role in all of it. If it doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't have good health. But if we get good health, then the opportunities for making money for all demographics is going to be better. But in particular, let's look at health insurance. Senator Ron Johnson's held 4 hearings on the failures of Obamacare in the last 4 years up in D.C. He's the chairman of the investigations committee. And he put up a chart a couple of months ago in one of the hearings, and it showed that since Obamacare went into effect in 2013, was passed in 2010, forced on all of us in 2010, the health insurance has gone up 167% on average, the monthly premiums for patients. 167%, which is 4.3 times the CPI. Alabama's is 270.
Oh, man. Jeez.
People are absolutely getting crushed by this health insurance monopoly in a way. Alabama's unique because Blue Cross has 90% of the private market. And, boy, they protect that vigorously, as they say. But this year, I don't know if we talked about it before, but they slipped through a bill that allows them to put they have $3.6 billion in reserves, to put potentially billions of dollars in holding company. They're a nonprofit that allows them to keep money, keep money. It's but I think that in and of itself is a major thing. The gas tax, which is no cap on it, we talked about that, I know, before, but really, you take a look at I had a lady 6 months ago who came in they just jacked up her monthly premiums to almost $3,000 a month. Wow. Nobody can do this.
It's crazy.
Saying this, and you just need leadership that's willing to challenge the big mules, and certainly Blue Cross is one of the 12 big mules that run things down there. And that's why I figured out why I'm the perfect person for this, because and Will Ainsworth done a good job in several regards, of course, but 4 or 5 times he actually in the last 8 years has challenged the governor on some issues. But I'm not looking to challenge our governor. I think he and I would be in lockstep on most things. But the blindness of the senators and the legislature at large in passing things that just don't help. They do not help. And my article in 1819 a couple of weeks ago is the best example of it. In the last hour, they passed that bill that allows entities, and I think UAB is that entity, to take over rural health in our state with $1 billion. And they get to legally now do it with a monopoly. They can exclude competition. But there's just so much opportunity. I think I'm looking forward to working with the senators as we take a different approach. I've told you this before. I'm looking to work with them, not with knives drawn, hey, you jerks, or anything like that. It's just, hey, wait a minute. It's like the doctors that got COVID wrong. Wait a minute. I want to work with y'all. Let's really refocus on, rather than the big mule's wishes, let's try and get to the issues that are going to help that.
What do they say in the military, Doc? We got our fangs out. You've got your fangs out. You're ready to go. You're ready to fight.
Well,
Not
if we
knives,
have
but
to,
you're ready.
right.
That's it.
Yeah, you always have to have that posture if they force it. I don't want to do it, but one of my favorite sayings from the military, you've heard, Troy, is you will not rise to the occasion, you'll sink to your training.
This is true.
And I think that training that you and I received in large measure is going to help us in refocusing the heart of the Senate back to the citizens.
Your military experience makes you a unique, and as a flight, Joey, so Army flight surgeons are rare. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of flight surgeons in the Air Force, but he was an actual U.S. Army flight surgeon who, my favorite story is that you shared with me at the Barber Sports Motor Center, helped stand up a very pathfinding kind of operation for our wounded warriors returning, didn't you?
Right. I was Wounded Warriors was part of the guardsmen and reservists who were injured, and they came back and they stood up a national entity called the Warrior Transition Unit, and they asked me to come and command it out at Fort Sam, but I didn't want to. That deployment was long enough, but I didn't want to come and do that. But it's just looking after. That's what a lot of that was an example of what I'm talking about, where these people. The nurses just had such poor leadership, and when I walked in the door within 2 weeks, Warrior Transition Command out in San Antonio came in and asked me to go full-time with them because I was focused on the soldier.
Yeah.
And 12 of the 16 nurses who were the case managers working at that post came to me offline and said, "Thank you for allowing me to do my job," because the bureaucracy had been so restraining. And that's just, what's the focus? Why are we here? What are we doing? And maintaining the right focus. And I'm looking forward to helping.
Again, folks, we're talking to Stuart Tankersley. He is a candidate to be the next lieutenant governor of the great state of Alabama. If folks want to, like what they're hearing so far, want to support you in some way, volunteer, donate money, how can they do so?
Yes, please. You can call the campaign number 334-313-7178, or you can go on the website, stuarttankersley.com, and on the social media platforms, it's Dr. Stuart Tankersley. But please, need it. I'm looking forward to helping. I know I can, and the focus of not wanting to be the governor is going to allow me to be the voice for the people.
Here. Now, you mentioned in passing that Blue Cross Blue Shield is one of 12 big mules. Can we go down the list of who, almost a crash course on who are the big mules? And it doesn't mean you got to lock horns with them every day of the week, but you need to know who they are and, how they help run this state.
Yeah, I wrote it. Somebody asked me that last week, and so I wrote it down. And I think by far and away the evidence is clear that in the last 6 years, the biggest mule in the state by far has been Hospital Association, i.e. UAB. Mm. And then you got the trial lawyers and the normal players, BCA, trial lawyers. I'm going to just pop them up so I don't forget any of them. But
I'd imagine Alabama Power's on that.
I would think. You'd probably have Southern Company.
Maybe something with the AEA or teachers, right? Education interests.
That's exactly right. And these people just need to be told they need to be a part of the solution, not just dominating their industry or whatever, of forestry, of course. And there's so many. Let's see. So I'll go down. The Indians have been. By the way, if we allow any type of, we've talked about this before, Joey. If we allow any type of game of chance, as Tom Parker, former Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court, said, you open the door to all other types of gaming. And really, to me, it's kind of moot. Anybody can get on their phone and gamble at any time. But if you allow any type of gaming, that opens the door for all others. And we're going to have these international cartels come in here, and they will make these other 11 big mules. They will be so dominant because they'll have more money, despite the fact they don't provide anything very value, and they take a lot of the money out of the state. And I thought Mo Brooks and Brian Dawson's interview last week was very powerful. It just talks about all this in detail. But we just cannot allow that type of dominance. Here they are. Power Company, Blue Cross, the universities, RSA, Indians, teachers, the Hospital Association, UAB, BCA, Business Council of Alabama, Alpha, Forestry, Trial Lawyers, and Road Builders. Yeah, so I think that's, in talking to people over the years, they kind of, and you and I don't have advocates down there, but they have these huge, the ag bill that just passed, I think it was $700 billion or something, some huge volume. The ag industry, the big players in ag spent $500 million, but it's a $70 billion payout. So it seems like a huge amount of money. Of course it is, but they get a lot paid back from it.
Sure.
And so, by the way, I was interviewed on Children's Health Defense. If you go to their website, you can see the interview last week where we did on that bill that passed, the farm bill. But we got so much to be grateful for in our state. The people and the natural resources and the water. Water's a big deal.
Such a big deal.
And I do think that I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here with these data centers. I think that the evolving opportunities for micronuclear reactors we are going to be able to do a lot more. And then what Elon Musk is trying to do with these data centers in space, where there is where you don't have to cool it down because it's plenty cold, and then you get to shoot it down without the energy absorption.
You know this, DARPA, the Defense Acquisitions Research Project Administration, has had microreactors from the size that could fit on this laptop to a truck. The U.S. Navy has been doing nuclear power for nearly 70 years safely. If you're an environmentalist or a tree hugger or a crunchy granola and you tell me that nuclear power is not the way to go, then you are ignorant.
Yeah, they're ignorant. But I've learned a lot about this on the trail by meeting a lot of these candidates. And one of them is this guy running for Senate, very likable guy, like almost all of them are, is Seth Burton. He was a commander of 2 different nuke subs, and he is a genius, dude. And he's talked about this on the campaign trail and spun me up a little bit on it. And the opportunities, so while we are, potentially putting ourselves in trouble with these solar farms or whatever, when we got other access to things that aren't going to be potentially harming the environment, but soaking up our power bills is, increasing our power bills. There are other opportunities right around the corner, if not already here. And we just need to take a step back and say, what are our goals here?
Well, we got to take a break in a second. But, of the 3 you mentioned, we haven't touched on trust before. And, I mean, we've talked about this almost every time you've been on the show. But how do you start to rebuild trust? I imagine these all interplay and go into one another. But how do you start to get folks, especially the everyday person in Alabama, trusting their institutions again?
Yeah, well, it starts with leadership. And I think Senator Tuberville, coach, has really demonstrated leadership in many areas of his life, and he understands what leadership is, how important it is, and I look forward to being, I think, his most valuable cabinet member, having served for 5 years on the command staff. But, leadership is so important. Integrity is always the most important thing. I said this, I'll leave with this. I went to the winter meeting, and there were 3 and I spoke to all of them. I felt like I was going to the Lions Den, but it turns out I didn't, because Scott Stagan is going to be a wonderful chairman of the party. But I said, instead of money, connections, and stagecraft, we need to get back to integrity first, resume and message as to who's going to help us out of the problems we have. And, I have to be braggadocious, I guess, on the campaign trail, even though it kind of comes unnatural. But I'll throw mine up against any of theirs, and I'm very much not looking forward to be the governor, but helping. And that leadership by just telling the people every week what they're doing in the legislature, I think is the first step we have to go to.
Here.
Get that
just
trust.
communicate it straight up.
Absolutely.
Instead of some of the last second stuff, as you mentioned in your op-ed, we read that op-ed when it came out the other week. But when we come back from this break, I want to get into that because just so people understand what was done at the very last second. And it's an example of the big mules, one of them not cooperating necessarily with a larger picture, but dominating to their own advantage, to your point. So we'll definitely get into that after this break. This part of the program, folks, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, whether you're looking to purchase a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. They can walk you through the process from pre-approval. Do not skip that step or you're going to have heartbreak and heartburn and all sorts of other issues. Get pre-approval done, and they'll walk with you from that step all the way to closing day and all the steps in between. And, of course, if you're looking to refinance to get debt off your back or restructure debt or maybe looking to shore up that retirement fund, or it could be you want to reinvest in your property, your family, yourself. Maybe you've been watching too much Michael Saylor and you want to become a Bitcoin maxi. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying whatever your goals are. Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage can help you out. And, of course, they know the latest with the VA mortgage system. And it's the best deal in town if you're a veteran not using a VA mortgage,
without a doubt,
whether to buy a home or get a, 100% cash out refinance.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Awesome. Best game in town. So y'all check them out today. That's Alabama Home Mortgage. You can always start the conversation at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of health care you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 14 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of the good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. The 5 things to do when you are considering selling your home. Number 1, get a realtor to evaluate your home and that will make suggestions on updates needed for your home, painting suggestions, and staging tips to highlight your home. Number 2, along with the evaluation of the house, you need an updated market analysis that compares your house to other houses for sale and those that have sold. Number 3, do a walk around your own home to see what you could do to improve the curb appeal to potential buyers. Since research tells us that 8 out of 10 home buyers choose the house that they view based on the curb appeal of the home. Number 4, review online the houses that have sold in your neighborhood to see how yours compares with the ones that buyers have chosen. Number 5, if possible, use a CRS certified realtor in your marketplace. For other details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breakers tripping?
Oh, yes, Bill. My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that, because each year thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work or you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Don't miss the River Region Healthy Living Expo happening Thursday, May 14th from 10 to 2 at the shops at East Chase. From senior health to total wellness, it's all here and admission is free. Learn more in the Check It Out section at WAKA.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Truckers, listen up. A $2,500 sign-on bonus only at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Work for a company that puts God and family first. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, work for the best in the business.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a pretty good start to the week. There'll be a sun and cloud mix today, a warm day with a high temperature in the lower 80s. I can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm somewhere in the area later on this afternoon, but the chances are very small. Tonight, cloudy at times, then mostly clear later. Overnight low temperature down to about 60. Mostly sunny with lower 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. An extended period of storm-free days and comfortable nights. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Big dreams for your home on a tight budget? ASE's $26.26 as you covered. Unlock your home's equity with just $26 in closing costs. No fees, no headaches. Visit your local ASE branch today. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 420259.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Again, in studio alongside Troy and I, we have Dr. Stuart Tankersley. He's a candidate to be the Republican nominee for lieutenant governor in the general election in November. And if where we left off, you wrote a great op-ed on a last-second move that was made by the Alabama legislature that essentially gives a lot of monopoly power to certain institutions in rural health care, essentially be able to write their own rules, write their own ticket. But that's my general takeaway. But what did the legislature do? Why is this so
well, this
sneaky?
is massively important. Part of the big, beautiful bill last July was $50 billion carved out for rural health care. And Alabama, because of its the governor's, whoever she put in charge of that committee or entity to come up with the plan for using it, which they had to submit to HHS. It was so weak that we got the least of the people around us, the states around us. And this is all, you can hear Senator Larry Stutz said this on the Senate, all this on the Senate floor. It was appalling. The bill came to the Senate from the House Judiciary Committee. Why would it come from the Judiciary Committee? Because in the bill, they were asking for monopolistic power, the right to reject competition from people, from others, the small guy in the local rural areas, so that the big entity, and we'll see if it's UAB and the Hospital Association with these big entities like UAB or Huntsville Hospital or I don't know if South Alabama or not. But by the way, South Alabama, I want to brag about them in a minute. But these big entities are now going to be able to have monopolies in rural Alabama to provide the care, supposedly, and it's going to be $203 billion for 5 consecutive years, over $205 million, so it's going to be over $1 billion over 5 years. And that money's just going to get sucked up into the big machine in Birmingham. Sure, they're going to be doing some stuff on the local levels, but UAB was clearly the dominant mule during COVID, and they did not do us any favors, hardly any favors. And they were one of the original sites for remdesivir development and remdesivir, and it's just we need to get back to a different system because clearly the intent has been to break the system so that we have this dominant bureaucratic, government-led healthcare system, despite the costs and the death and destruction associated with it. And so people ask, why is Alabama one of the 10 states that's not expanding Medicaid? And those hearings that Senator Johnson had are very, very insightful in explaining how destructive they are for the people, and especially those that Medicaid was designed for. They go to the back of the line every time because the states get paid more by one of these young healthy workers. I think there were 42 million on the rolls that were expanded. It's just everything about it, the incentives were all wrong, but if you understand the purpose of it, you understand why. And I think that, honestly, this is an example of how the legislature is blind to what the game really is, because I can't conceive of Garland Gudger and other people like him going along with it if they really had been trained and understood, listened to people that were telling them how the system's rigged. And that's what I would do for healthcare, for me, or, got other people in other industries that could come alongside and help them understand why the big mules are seemingly giving you the only answer, when in fact that's rarely the case. But by the way, as a side note, and I do not want to go down another rabbit hole like this, but monkeypox, this new virus, hantavirus, all this stuff, it's this gain of function's got to end. And what Robert Redfield, who was the former CDC director, who's been fighting Fauci for decades against gain of function, he said 2 years ago that, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3, that they have 80-something in the hopper to be unleashed. And that is a frightening statement from a man from his stature and integrity. He has admitted now that he clearly is against any of these COVID shots. The platform, the technology was just wrong from the start. And even though he and his wife got them, he's talked about his wife being injured by them and everything. And so Blue Cross, the power brokers, the hospital association, we've got answers. We need them. By the way, we need UAB to be a booming success. But we just don't need it on the backs of the citizens.
Amen.
And their freedoms. And, UAB has been called the house that Lister built. It was he was my, in effect, great uncle, who was Lister Hill, who was the senator in charge of the health committee. And as the story goes, when UAB was getting off the ground in the 50s and 60s, he would give a grant to UAB and a grant to Mayo Clinic, a grant to UAB, a grant to Harvard. And that's what built UAB into the wonderful place it used to be, at least. And I love the care that patients can get there potentially, but the politics at the top of the whole structure have got to be reconfigured.
Now,
to benefit everybody.
I've got to ask you about, because we've definitely talked about your work there on the vaccine working group during COVID and much of what happened during COVID, but what have you maybe carried with you in life? What did you learn from your time there on the Alabama Ethics Commission? What did you learn about this place?
Yeah, that's right. 2013 through 16, and the timing, 30-second background.
Yeah.
In 2010, when the legislature went from 2 houses, both houses being Democrat, to supermajority Republican, right after that, remember, the legislators take seat the next day. The 7 executive officers wait till inauguration in January. Governor Riley, in December of 10, called a special session for the writing of a new, very good, comprehensive ethics bill. And so it went into effect. And I was the third appointee at the time. Governor Bentley appointed me to it. So I was the third of the 5 members who clearly had different objectives than the prior members. And so we started making a lot of good changes, giving teeth to this bill that the legislature wrote. And then when Hubbard former Speaker Hubbard got convicted, I walked in the meeting. I said, people are about to find out who we are, and we're going to be challenged. And so sure enough, they appointed 3 Democrats to the commission And there was a lot of watering down and easing up of the laws in a way, and then they gutted the law in large measure in 2018, supermajority Republican legislature. Gutted the revolving door, I think, statute, if you will, or the gifts and stuff. There should be some gray area, no doubt, but with the track record that we have of the distrust that we have engendered down here, we deserve that type of harsh law so that we can rewrite the foundations of who needs to help our state out of the problem. We have so much more potential than even Florida with that wonderful leadership that DeSantis has given. And what has happened in the last 16 years? Well, in 2010, the general budget was $1.3 billion, and the Education Trust Fund was under $6 billion. This year, it's $10.5 billion and $3.9 billion. We've more than doubled the budget under a supermajority Republican legislature in 16 years. And that's where the money, I mean, paying attention to any of the stuff in D.C., you see how the government funds the corruption in a way. Backdoor, sometimes right in blatant. Right in front of you. But we're not helping the people by doing the things that are forced on us. Sometimes they're forced on us from D.C., but I think I can't wait to see what Coach does in his leadership, because he understands how broken the system in D.C. is. And so so when I was put on the other issue you asked was about being put on the vaccine working group in October of 20. I had never been, I never liked the HPV vaccine. I thought that was, it really caused some problems. But when I got put on that working group, I was appalled at the leadership demonstrated from the very first meeting we had, that it was all politicized. And then he continued to double down, Scott Harris continued to double down on the stupid. And for example, in the spring meeting of the Medical Association, he spoke, and I had two of the people that were there tell me that he said flat out the reason that Alabama's not having good uptake is because of the Christian, the conservative, the real strong conservative people. Well, in fact, the same number of blacks and whites the blacks and whites had the same uptake. And Democrats and Republicans had the same uptake. And so that type of mindset that he brought to this big government, big bureaucracy, failed us time and time and time again. And I begged him to listen to a different perspective. He never would. And then, of course, 2 or 3 years ago, he told Senator Larry Stutz, who we went to medical school with, that when Senator Stutz asked him why he's still broadcasting all these vaccine commercials and everything, the scientific chief health officer for the state said, free money from the feds. That is not a scientific response. And then more and more evidence has come out with, of course, Fauci lying repeatedly to Congress, and now Morin's is going to be has already been indicted. Yeah. And so the truth is, it's coming out, and the abuse and the death and destruction from these shots, it just made no sense. And so now what I've learned about vaccines in general, and I hope and pray that they are helpful. I'm not talking about the COVID shot. It's just awful. But I hope that all the other shots are true. But none. This is congressional sworn testimony. No vaccine on the schedule has ever, and this is, and RFK's been talking about for 20 years, none of them have ever been placebo-controlled, blinded, placebo-controlled studies over time. Yeah. Like the hepatitis B vaccine that we jabbed these young children right out of the womb with, one of them had a 4 or 5 day trial. And yet we see, and I don't know what's going to turn out. Tylenol, who knows? But I don't know what's going to turn out to be the cause. But we cannot continue ignoring 1 in 31 children now born to us are autistic, when in the 60s it was 1 in 10,000. And in California, for every black boys, 1 in 12.5 are diagnosed autistic. This is not a testing issue. This is a real neurological degradation that we've got to find the cause for, whether it's vaccines or not. I hope it's not vaccines. I hope that they are proven to be safe and effective. But the whole thing, we just need dialogue, and we haven't been allowed to have it.
Colonel, what about the 1, 2, 3, and 4 versions of the anthrax shot that the Army gave us? And they came out and said, don't give 2 or 3 and 4. Well, too late, I already got it. I laugh because vaccines are very, very nebulous in the way they work, but your numbers do not lie. This ain't a testing issue. We have a full-blown crisis. Speaking of which, what's your thoughts on mental health? I'm a champion of mental health for our veterans, for suicide.
Absolutely.
How do you address that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that these young men, in particular young men and women, but mostly young men, who have really, you see the heart of the culture when you have these young men. And I was there, you were there with these guys on the front line, where sometimes they're incentivized for education or whatever to get out of a bad spot or whatever, but they really do, or they used to when I enlisted, understand that there is a higher purpose, and that's trained into you, into the soldiers. Yeah, the profession. And I think that they've gotten off message on that the last 10 or 15 years, to have pride in our country, to have pride in what we stand for. We were designed and developed as a Christian country. And on touching on that, Jonathan Edwards was the famous preacher in the 1700s, and he was killed by the smallpox vaccine.
Yes, he was.
And I talked to Peter McCullough and John Leake about their book that came out a year and a half ago about vaccines. They've tragically become a faith system, and it's hard to get people. And it was hard for me. It was hard for anybody who's been trained in the deception to really just step back and say, wait a minute, could I be wrong on this? And that goes really back to the most important message of the day, which was what you started your program with today. It was very powerful. I love the blacks, whites, Republicans, Democrats. We're commanded to. We might not like everybody, but we are commanded to love them and have their best interest. In doing that is my profession. It's so easy to see that's the problem, what you were getting to, the spiritual deconditioning. And it's so much opportunity ahead for us, and looking forward to be a part of the solution.
Yeah, and I've noticed, just to finish on that it's not so much lack of worship that's a problem, because it's worship disordered. Yeah. You will have faith, you'll worship something, and when you put it too much in science or political institutions or particular historical narratives, and all, by the way, perhaps good things in their own sake, in proportion, when they're rightly ordered. But we continue to see, I think, and I think that's driving the most of our problems, most of our distrust and our pathologies across the board.
Yeah, amen. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Now, again, if folks are interested in helping you out, want to volunteer, donate to your campaign, how can they do so?
Well, please do. I need it. I'm not one of the 3 career politicians who've been at it for 10 years plus. So StuartTankersley.com. Please donate. Also on the platforms, Dr. Stuart Tankersley, and my phone number, 334-313-7178. And, I think we have a wonderful opportunity. And I think the other candidates I'm running against, if they would take this on, I've encouraged them from the very beginning, please take this issue. It is the issue we've got to be willing to address. And they won't take it on. I was interested a month ago when one of my opponents, whose husband is in the legislature, said on the stump, and this is all she said and didn't offer solutions, but was Alabama has the most corrupt legislature in the country. She said that. I was based my statements on what I saw when I was on the Ethics Commission. But for her to say that, and given that her husband is in there, we deserve better. They deserve better. The legislators deserve better. I just can't imagine going home every day after a session and just shaking my head, what am I doing here, when all this people are hurting and nobody seems to, the big mules just keep riding along.
Well, this hour flew by. Always great seeing you, sir.
Always great to see y'all. Thank y'all for doing what you do.
And we'll be right back, hopefully with Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
At Blue Water Broadcasting, we believe great advertising starts with relationships. That's why so many local business owners trust us, not just for radio, but for digital too. If you're already running digital advertising and you're not seeing results, it may be time to explore your options. Our team takes the time to understand your business, then builds custom campaigns using a multi-channel conversion-focused approach. So whether it's digital display, social media, or you need help increasing your online presence, Blue Water Broadcasting can help. Before your next campaign, let's have a conversation. Visit bluewaterbroadcasting.com.
Mayday, Mayday, may I have your attention? I want to announce that Pizza Perfect in May. You can buy a large pizza at the regular price and get a large single topping pizza for only $10. You already know that Pizza Perfect has the best pizza buffet in town, including spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $13 at lunch and dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday all day. In May, buy any large pizza at the regular price and get a large single topping pizza for $10. Pizza Perfect, Coliseum Boulevard in Eastbrook. Available for pickup and delivery.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Joey. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. It's fun hanging out with Troy Carrico here. Just talked to Stuart Tankersley. Got another candidate, Case Dixon, running for Congress, coming up. So I'm busy today.
But that's wonderful.
Now, are you all busy there at Cohen's? What's going on there today?
I tell you, my delivery and my service people are humping it. We're having a little lull right now, which kind of, we can catch up on all the stuff we should have been doing. But, you got a choice of doing paperwork or waiting on a customer. Everybody's jumping for the customer. So it's all good here. Michael Jackson's out there running down problems. I think he had a new home theater receiver to install today. And he had a couple of service calls to go along as well. So it's going to turn out to be a good day.
I love hearing that. And folks, just as a reminder, great products there at Cohen's. They're not going to be beat on price, but they'll always win. They're always going to beat the competition when it comes to service, including service after the sale, even many moons later, even years later at times. Cohen's is there. They'll take your call. You can always call them up at 277-8890 if you already know what you need help with, what you're looking into. But I'd encourage you to get by there, actually see the TVs, the brand new audio equipment, the furniture. Really, I've got to see those bean bags here soon. You got to see it in person. And, of course, if you're looking on the appliance side of the store, new fridge, new washer-dryer unit, they got your back there too, as well as that delivery and, again, that service. So y'all check them out today. You can always go to thinkcohens.com. Or, like I said, just stop by. 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And find Michael there and be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show with Joey.
Joey and Troy.
No Eddie. No Eddie, but that's okay. He'll show up.
Yeah, today he said it's Realtor Day for him.
Monday's a hard day for him, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's good that he does actually work. Because normally all I see is pictures of sunsets at the lake.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough somewhere.
Have you seen his dance? Have you seen his latest dance video?
No, and
I'll
I'm
make
okay
sure.
to
I'll
miss
make sure on
that.
Friday he shows it to you. Okay.
By the way, realtor is my favorite word to say wrong. Realtor.
Realtor.
Drives folks nuts. Realtor.
Real.
He's a realtor. My sidekick.
All right. Well, y'all come see us, ask us some questions, let us ask you some questions, and
Yes,
let us
sir.
help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are, appliances or electronics. And have a great day. Enjoy a day without rain.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Appreciate you, Michael.
Take care.
Again, that's Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. I'm a customer. A lot of family members
Happy
are customers.
customer at that,
They
yeah.
do great stuff there. So how about this? Let's hit our top of the hour break early. We'll come back. We have Case Dixon. Of course, he is running for Congress in District 6. And we had Gary Palmer on last week. Good to have Case here in the studio this week. And we'll get into all the stuff, especially with the redistricting that just happened. Like, there's plenty to talk about. Be right back.
Joey Clark.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump says the Iran ceasefire is now on life support after he rejected Tehran's latest proposal to end the war. He told reporters today that the Iranian leadership is crazy and that there's no way he's going to allow them to develop a nuclear weapon, something upon which they continue to insist. Also at srnnews.com, a United Nations body has changed the number of projects when it comes to so-called climate change are being forced to ramp down some of their previous estimates. Policy initiatives such as the science-based targets are adjusting rules to reflect reduced urgency for drastic emissions cuts. New U.S. migration trends show Americans leaving high-cost Democrat strongholds for Republican-led Sunbelt states in recent years. Since 2020, California, New York, and Illinois have seen the largest net population losses. This is SRN News.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a pretty good start to the week. There'll be a sun and cloud mix today, a warm day with a high temperature in the lower 80s. I can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm somewhere in the area later on this afternoon, but the chances are very small. Tonight, cloudy at times, then mostly clear later. Overnight low temperature down to about 60. Mostly sunny with lower 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. An extended period of storm-free days and comfortable nights. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
Republican Senate primary candidate Jared Hudson says there's a Washington, D.C. political action committee that is getting very nervous about his bid to be Alabama's next U.S. Senator. Hudson says that the American Values First PAC has launched campaign attack ads against Hudson and his run for the U.S. Senate seat here in Alabama. Hudson says his message must be resonating since these shady out-of-state groups are now spending money within the state on ridiculous claims. Hudson reiterated that he supports strong border security and the passage of the Save America Act, and this seems to be what is causing Washington insiders to panic. Hudson says this type of effort from an outside PAC is insulting to Alabama voters who are smart enough to see through the nonsense. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A political action committee that is the political arm of the Business Council of Alabama has had to make a broadcast retraction after attacking Mo Brooks as he runs against incumbent James Lomax for the House District 20 seat. The Progress PAC suggested that Brooks had taken part in insider stock trading on radio ads that they created. Progress PAC has now had to issue a retraction ad on the very same radio stations where the first ads were aired. Another safe haven baby box is coming to Alabama. The latest installment will be at the Sylacauga Fire Department. The City Council of Sylacauga approved this effort with a unanimous vote. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Well, the war's still going on. How about that, Troy?
Yeah, it's nothing new under the sun.
Iran won't have a nuclear weapon. Trump keeps.
I thought it was a 60-day limit on that.
Case Dixon in the studio with us. He's running for Congress. I thought so, too. But, yeah, it drags on.
So it does.
There's a difference between the boardroom and the battlefield.
But Case, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me back on, man.
And of course, you're running for Congress in District 6.
That is right.
Going up against Gary Palmer in that race. And first, I want to start with the redistricting and all the action that happened since the Calais case. Are you for it? What's your ideas generally on should we go 7-0? Like, and then we'll get into how it affects District 6 here in a moment.
Yeah, so my overarching theme, my thoughts on everything is, I mean, I hate to see the mid-decade redistricting, but whenever you look at states where there should be conservative districts and there's not, I mean, there has to be a pushback against that. So I think it's obvious that Alabama has to go 7-0. It's just a matter of when we do it. Obviously, it's not going to happen this right now in the immediate future, but hopefully at least by 2027 we can completely redraw the maps and go 7-0 for 2028.
Here. I like that as well. And I don't know if I can completely buy what the folks down at the legislature are saying, like in terms of the legal arguments. Yeah. But, you know, we got what we got last week, and it was quite a circus as well with the flooding and all sorts of the craziness going on. But how would, say the court lifts the injunction, how would this affect District 6?
So District 6 would actually not be affected too much. We would lose, probably a lot of the listeners here, lose half of Elmore County would then go into District 2, which would then become a conservative Republican district again. But aside from that, the lines of District 6, aside from losing half of Elmore County, would stay identical.
Okay, so we'd still be talking to a lot of folks in our audience, just not as many. And number one, how's the campaign going? How's the race going?
It's good. It's going, it's getting busy. Stuff starts flying here these last few weeks, so curious to see how it all plays out.
Now, not to have you repeat yourself, but I think to remind folks who didn't hear last time you had a cast or something on your hand. And just for folks to get a actual human side of campaigning and getting out there, what happened to your hand?
Yeah, so I was out in Hoover, door knocking.
Yeah.
And I'm walking up. I go from one house, knock, no one's there, leave a card. The next house was also, I'm using an app, and it tells me, who's voting conservative. That way I'm not wasting time. So the next house also is a Republican voter. So I start walking across the yard, and there's a lady sitting outside in her lawn chair, just sunbathing, looking at her phone, doing whatever she's going to do. And I start walking up. She sees me, and I wave, and I say, hey, how are you doing? And she looks at me, and she goes, I'm good. How are you? Just kind of welcoming. Didn't say, hey, come over here or whatever, but didn't. She seemed receptive to me coming into her yard, I guess is what I'm saying. And so I take about 5 or 6 more steps, and next thing you know, there is this massive, 60, 70-pound, pit bull-looking mutt mix running from the garage, out of the garage towards me as fast as it can, hair raised on the back. I mean, it is aggressive. And, sometimes dogs have a look in their eye like, hey, I'm announcing someone's here, or
this one's coming for you.
Right, I am about to maul you. And this dog had the maul, like, I'm going to maul you look in its eyes.
Lord.
And so I break down, and he breaks down, and we kind of sit there for a second. He's pouncing at me a little bit. And after about 2 or 3 seconds, he lunges right for my face. We're probably 3 feet apart. Mouth wide open, coming right at my face. And as hard as I could, I gave that dog a right hook in the side of the head.
Good.
And when I did that, apparently I crushed my right ring finger knuckle. Oh. So I was in a cast for about 3 or 4 weeks. Luckily, I didn't have to have surgery. Yeah. They thought that was going to be on the table for a little bit, but just the cast.
That story alone needs to win you some votes.
I hope you got her vote. I hope you got her vote,
Man,
her family's vote.
I feel like I deserve it after that. I'm going to be honest.
She's going to vote for you.
That's crazy.
Didn't sue her.
Yeah, what would the optics look like on that?
Right.
No, and I had a close call once door knocking where it was a Doberman and a German Shepherd sprinting at me, and it was an invisible fence. Luckily, I got outside the perimeter, but it's you got to watch it with certain yards.
Well, luckily, she also had an invisible fence, which, I was already in the middle of the yard by the time I realized the dog was there, but a heads up would have been nice. Yeah. I mean, come on.
That's crazy.
You just never know. But as you're going around District 6 and talking to voters and going to a lot of these meetups and stuff, what are the main issues that are cropping up for you?
I think obviously the number one thing is affordability and the cost of living. Right now with gas, we're over $4 a gallon now, and the grocery store, you name it, it's all up in price. And so that's really the running theme of my campaign is making District 6 conservative again. And so I brought some things here I want to go through. It's actually a little list.
Sure.
Your listeners, I'm sure, might be aware that different organizations put out scorecards and rate legislators. So I wanted to go through a list. For those of you that don't know, in District 6, your current representative is Congressman Palmer, which is who I'm challenging in the primary here. So I'm going to go through a few organizations. Turning Point Action. They have Congressman Palmer currently rated for this session at a 72.83. And so that's a C-, and they have him listed as losing patriotism, meaning he is trending downward over the years. He used to be higher, he's going down. Next, we have the Freedom Index, which is the John Birch Society. They have him currently rated at a 73. And then the third one here, the Republican Liberty Caucus, they have him rated at a 44 for 2025 with an average of 63. So where are they getting these? This isn't just opinion.
Yeah.
They are basing this off of specific votes. And then they have it's not opinion-based. It is a certain criteria. You know, you vote for this +1, you vote against this -1, so on and so forth. And that's where we're at. And I think in a state like Alabama, just talking about the map, going 7-0 here, I mean, we're a conservative state in a conservative district in District 6. I mean, at the very least, don't you think our congressman should be in the 80s? I mean, why not an A? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, in the 90s.
What did the president get to vote? 80 plus here. So
Right.
you should be on par with him.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Now, did you dig into kind of what was he slipping on?
Yeah, so there's several things. I mean, number one is going to be spending, bringing it back to affordability. I mean, under Biden, he would get up on the House floor and rail against bloated spending bills and raising the national debt and the debt ceiling. But then we saw this past summer, he's voted for the largest debt ceiling increase in history, $5 trillion. And I mean, whenever we do that, the government's just going to print more money, and that's just one of those things where you're going to get dinged on that because that's what's driving up prices, and it's certainly not conservative.
Yeah, it's frustrating because for all the excitement of Doge at the very beginning, they have put Doge on a leash. And now, don't get me wrong, I think federal employment's the lowest it's ever been since the 60s, like 1966 or something like that. So there has been some great work done by things like Doge, but the Congress in particular was clearly pushing back and wanting to put Doge on the leash. And especially when you have somebody from Ruby Red, Alabama, like it sounds to me like Congressman Palmer plays the game, and I think he could make a case for himself. I'm not going to make it for him that of why he's made particular votes and why he's done certain things. But it's frustrating as heck to see a guy who I think kind of is conservative. Then when it comes time to vote on something like a debt ceiling, like, well, you got to play with the team.
Right, and that's, I've pegged him on my social media. I've gone with the nickname Status Quo Gary, if anybody follows me on social media. And I feel like that's very fitting because, like you just said, I truly do think maybe in his heart he's a conservative guy, but we've seen many times that Washington likes to work against the interest of the citizens whenever we're not paying attention. And if they say jump, he says how high. Another example here is that vote in 2021 after Biden had that awful withdrawal from Afghanistan. There was a vote that Speaker Johnson, he was the speaker at that time, put up to increase the number of Afghan migrants, so increased visas for Afghan migrants while also relaxing the vetting process associated with that. I mean, we know the dangers of having unvetted people coming into this country, and that's really what this vote was bringing more people with less strict requirements, and he voted yes. And that kind of slipped under the radar, but it was leadership pushing this, which I think we can all agree at this time we need lower immigration levels across the board, legal, illegal, stronger vetting processes, and we need people here that are actually going to contribute socially, economically, culturally. But that's another vote that just kind of leadership said do it, and he said okay.
But I mean, like, to play devil's advocate here, though, it's not that tough of a question. How are you going to get anything done? It's not like you got any mavericks up there in the Congress. Like, if you don't play ball with leadership, how do you accomplish things over there?
I think you have to truly win in the court of public opinion and be accessible to your constituents. And we saw that with the Epstein Files Transparency Act earlier last year, or late last year. I mean, Speaker Johnson and the Senate and the President all didn't want this vote to come to fruition, but we saw some different processes put in place with the discharge petition, and the public wanted it, and so they eventually had to cow to the public and say, okay, we're bringing this to the floor.
Now, what do you make of, and we got the passing comment, and with high gas prices, I can guess this, but with the current war with Iran, I guess it's not like we're dropping thousands of bombs right now, but the blockade continues, the sort of battle over the Strait of Hormuz, a very long, slow battle. What do you make of this moment right now?
We seriously have to come to the negotiating table. I mean, they have to come to the negotiating table, but I think there's so many issues facing Americans right here at home that, I mean, our interests could be better diverted other places. I'm not so sure this war was the best idea to begin with. With our national debt, $39 trillion. We already talked about the price increases and, healthcare costs. I mean, everything, you name it, through the roof. With the SAVE Act, we haven't even passed the SAVE Act yet. I mean, we've got much bigger priorities, I think, than really just diluting our interest across the globe.
Yeah, and our financial guy, Austin Branco, said this earlier, and I think he's right. Even Trump in some of these press conferences seems to be tired of this war.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I driving over here, I saw a tweet from Don Jr., and I want to read this to you from April 13th, 2024. So we're talking just over 2 years ago. And Don Jr. put out a tweet, "Remember when they said Trump would get us into a full-blown war with Iran? Times like this should make us realize how lucky we were to have Trump, his strength, and his resolve." And look, for some of your viewers, they might be thinking, oh, this guy's just a Trump hater. No, I'm not, but I'm trying to call balls and strikes. I voted for President Trump. I think he's done a great job on the border. I think he's done a great job of getting DEI out of Washington and out of this country, and really just overall the vibes of the country is like, hey, I'm proud to be an American again. And I attribute that a lot to President Trump.
As someone who served a lot of time in the Middle East, both as a intelligence officer for Defense Intelligence Agency and as an Army officer in infantry, I've broken a lot of bread with both Persians and Arabs, but they share a common lineage in Islam, and the Taqiyya concept. You cannot negotiate Western style with those folks. They will not honor it. He doesn't get that yet. He's hard-headed, and I'm a big fan of his. He squandered an opportunity. We should have finished the job weeks ago, and instead now we're left with a mess. And it's going to be costly to get out of that mess, I'm telling you.
Yeah, speaking of the midterms, talking about costly.
You ain't kidding, brother.
Right, and I don't know, being in the middle of this conflict as the president's about to go over to China. It's a huge trip with bringing like 15 top flight CEOs with him, including Elon Musk. And it just seems like this is an open wound that wasn't quite necessary, though. We'll see. It's one of those where I'm a spectator. I don't know. I don't have inside information. I'm not looking exactly at what the negotiations are. I'm not in the room. But I think a lot of the folks who are saying, hey, this is not going to be quick, are, as the clock ticks, the more correct they become by the day.
And I want to say this, too, to bring it back to Congress and really my race, I think that's the important thing is we don't need a bunch of yes men in Congress. We don't need people that are, Trump derangement syndrome is one thing, right? If you're constantly opposing someone just because of who they are and what they're proposing, obviously that's bad, and those people shouldn't be there, in my opinion. But we don't need yes men either. We need true conservative voices that are willing to call balls and strikes. And whenever it's something good, say, hey, this is something good. When it's not, you don't publicly blast somebody, but you go to the president, or you might put out a statement, say, hey, I think this is the wrong direction. I still stand with a lot of these other things, but I think we should push for X, Y, and Z. And that's the problem I have with Congressman Palmer and my opponent is he's a yes man, and he's not willing to stand up on conviction whenever it's time. And the president's human. He's not going to be right all the time, and he needs strong people around him that can urge him in the more conservative direction whenever the time calls for it.
But are you ready for the Marjorie Taylor Brown, green turns to brown when he does? I mean, and, of course, Thomas Massey's getting the horns right now with his reelection campaign. But then, I don't know. You've seen it to where I think my read on Trump is he actually respects somebody who can stand up to him. He might say a nasty thing in the moment, then later you're buddies again.
Right. Well, I've seen concerning Massey specifically, and I don't know if he still believes this, but he said this at one time, Massey did. He said that he really doesn't think the president dislikes him that much. He just doesn't want other people to stand up in the way that he has. So he's trying to instill fear in all of his colleagues, which I think there could be an element of truth to that.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Again, folks, we're talking to Case Dixon. He is running for Congress in the 6th district here in Alabama. Even if the maps, we go back to the 23 map, pretty much the same district, lose about half Elmore County, as you said. But if folks are listening and want to support you, want to volunteer, donate money, how can they do so?
Yeah, they can go to my website. You can do casedixon.com, or you could do dixonforuscongress.com.
Now, just to remind folks, why'd you get into politics, and how did you come by, say, this conservative point of view? And also, conservative to the point of let's have some independent thought here. Politics isn't just purely a team sport.
Right. I attribute all of it to my upbringing. I was homeschooled growing up, so I spent a lot of time with my family. Obviously,
where was that at? Where did you grow up?
Maylene, Alabama, right outside of Alabaster.
Okay.
But Christian upbringing, but being homeschooled really provided me a lot of opportunities to do Bible classes, and so it really gave me a strong foundation, I think. And then as far as government goes, I mean, it's been, you can really attribute that somewhat to homeschooling, but you can see how government isn't always the solution and that people need choices. Not to say that you have to homeschool. No, I would advocate for homeschooling. But the point is that we know better than the government. The government is made up of fallen human beings that are sinners, and to think that a certain government is perfect, whether it's our government, another nation's government, whatever it may be, the main thing is that God is the ruler of your life, and that's who we make our appeal to. I see your flag over there, an appeal to heaven. And so I think it's important that we remember that. And that's really where I think all of my views kind of start from.
No, and I've been saying over and over again since my recent reversion that I think the true battle is the spiritual one. It's the prayer every day as much as you can. So we have that discernment when it comes time to those tough decisions on the practical level, whether it's political or other matters in life. You at least have that true north there in your mind and in your heart. And I think to broaden that out, do you think there is, especially folks around our age, a little older, a little younger, that there is a bit of a resurgence, a bit of a revival going on in this country?
I think so. I've seen that from my personal experience. And I think what a lot of it comes down to is structure. I think there's just so much chaos out there that people are finding structure in God, in church. People need structure. People need accountability. And that's really kind of the backbone of conservatism, is that whenever you actually put responsibility in someone's life, you put these burdens on them that people typically rise to the task. But whenever you kind of say, hey, you can do whatever you want, I mean, whether it's the welfare state or whatever it may be, we see that people become dependent on that. And so, yes, to your question, I've absolutely seen that.
Yeah, and it gives me hope. And it's just like I'm sitting here going, how do we work on the boomermen? And there are exceptions. I think Congressman Palmer's an exception in terms of the faith, like very strong. There are a lot of writing devotionals for years. But when it comes to like, you look at the long polling and just how many times a week do you read the Bible, it just goes off a cliff as you go past Gen X into the boomer generation. How do we reach our fathers, so to speak?
Right. No, and I hope it's not a phase. I hope it, but
oh, certainly I do.
Things move in waves, but I pray that this generation and the coming generations I think we truly could have a resurgence in this country of going back to Christ, going back to God. But it's important that we don't let it slip away, because if we think, oh, everybody's coming back to Christ, and we just kind of, put our hands in our pockets, then we'll lose it as soon as it got here.
Yeah, and, it's not very popular, I guess, on a political show, but I keep saying politics ain't going to save you, folks. Like, we can fix the debt issues. We can fix a lot of different issues, but that's not what ultimately, number one, puts your pants on in the morning, and number two, it's not what actually gives you, say, true life within you.
Right.
Now, I want to open it up to where, if you got up there in Congress, like, is there something in particular that's just a passion project that you really wanted to work on that maybe isn't as broad as, say, something like the national debt? There's something you have had in mind, maybe it's a personal experience or business experience where you're like, you know what, I think I could really tackle this issue, and if I could get with these massive bills they pass and all this other stuff they do in committee, is there something that you have in mind you'd want to get done?
There's a couple of things. I think number one, and this is really more broad and I can narrow it down, but number one is just liberty in general. I think a lot of people don't have the appetite for liberty anymore. And even conservatives, I think, can many times get swept up with, how can we be safe in this certain situation? I mean, take, for example, the FISA vote.
Yeah.
I mean, Congressman Palmer, again, voted for that. I mean, that was used against President Trump to spy against him, and yet Congressman Palmer is going to vote for something that's going to allow the government to spy on us without even obtaining a warrant. That isn't even that hard to get. I mean, that's extremely concerning to me.
Should be.
We need conservatives that push back against that. But more specifically, I think with my background, for your listeners that don't know, I work as a physical therapist assistant full-time doing home health. So I think I've got some ideas on how we can bring healthcare costs down for folks in a way that's truly conservative, that really reduces the tax burden, and that is pretty effective.
Yeah, and I've seen it firsthand with my grandfather, living with him. Like, there are a lot of great people in healthcare, don't get me wrong, and great services out there, but when I do look at the cost, and him being a retired lieutenant colonel and pretty good benefits in that regard, I think of other folks that maybe don't have that situation. Like, where do you even begin in order to meet your needs? And that seems to be talking about the God thing, like the fact that we're leaving, say, some of the elderly by the wayside in those moments, those final years of life. It just, I don't know, kind of haunts me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see it every single day with work. And so it weighs on me. And so I think that's something that, and that's my problem too with term limits. Congressman Palmer infamously promised, hey, I'm going to serve 10 years in Congress and go home. Well, that was 12 years ago, and now we're going for 14 years. Mm-hmm. When you have more turnover in Congress, I think you get these differing perspectives, whether it's a healthcare worker or someone that's a military background or whatever it may be. I think that's important to have because everybody's going to have a different perspective in life and be able to apply it to Congress there.
The problem is their investment portfolios are so good they can't afford to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
I'm just saying. Go check.
You go in worth, $100,000, come out $100 million.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to leave that gravy train.
Yeah, and it's a bipartisan affair.
It sure is. Everybody's got the same investors.
Yeah, and I think the liberty issue gets, I like that you led with that in the more general sense. Because whether it's FISA or it's just basic fairness, like why is it that you essentially have this ruling class of folks that stay up there long enough and they seem to get rich off just their access to that status and position, as opposed to the guy who's getting crushed by inflation, crushed by high gas prices, and not just generalized inflation. Look at the housing market, look at healthcare. There's something very off, and it's, I think, great to think about liberty and those individual liberty issues like our Fourth Amendment rights, but then also just the basic fairness of our justice of our society. It seems quite askew at the moment.
Right. Well, I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, pretty much out of time here. Again, if folks want to donate to help you out, how can they do so?
Yeah, they can visit my website, dixonforuscongress.com. As we close, I know you said the segment's closing out. I just want to kind of make my final case here. May 19th, number one, get out to vote to the polls on May 19th. But secondly, look, the reason why I'm running is I've got 2 young kids. I'm a young guy myself. I'm worried about their future. Like I said, we've already got $39 trillion in national debt. I'm worried about how my daughters are going to be able to start a family, buy a home, get married. And so I have incentive to work on the things that I'm pushing for. And the tagline on my card is, my opponent ignores the affordability crisis, I won't. And I fully believe that's true. So that's my appeal that I would make to the voters out here in District 6.
Well, always great seeing you, man.
Cool.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Nice to meet you.
We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now. This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest,
the asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats?
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years. I would try drugstore insoles and supports.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, we know the search for pain relief can feel like a hopeless ordeal.
I've been through surgeries, foot injections. I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life.
At the Good Feet store, we hear stories every day of all kinds of cheap inserts, expensive shoes, and other failed remedies people have tried that just didn't work.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked. And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
I'm so glad I met Good Feet. That changed my life.
Don't lose hope. Give the Good Feet store a try.
We're located at 7341 East Chase Parkway in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The rain chances are very small as we go through the evening hours tonight. Most towns will stay dry, I think, with the overnight low temperature in the upper 50s. Then Alabama starts to dry out after a very wet week last week with mostly sunny skies on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're up near 80 tomorrow, in the lower 80s on Wednesday and Thursday, and we could be in the upper 80s by Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray to Publix.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Well, I'm looking at a headline here at 1819 News, Troy.
What is it?
And it's from I Still Love Her. She may not like me, especially after what I wrote coming out tomorrow. But plantation politics. Gavan attacks Alabama conservative redistricting effort, decries Anglo-Saxon, quote-unquote, disenfranchisement of blacks.
I told you when I came in that there's several of my Marine Sergeant Major friends, particularly Sergeant Major Battaglia, if you're listening, very, 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 very upset with what she wrote. So,
well, here, this was on Dale Jackson's show. And so this is a transcript of what she said on Dale's show this morning. Quote, had the Anglo-Saxon Americans been doing right in the beginning, we probably never would have gotten here. But because they tried to disenfranchise us, because they tried to zero black people out, they kept us enslaved for 200 and something years. And even at the year in 1863, when Lincoln freed us, they still kept us enslaved for another almost 2.5 or 3 years. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth in just a few weeks. So with that being said, I don't trust my colleagues on the opposite side of the aisle to do anything for me. My people didn't ask to come here. We were brought here through the shores of Africa, through the North Atlantic slave trade, take you to Jamestown, Virginia. The lawmaker claimed black Alabamians should have their own congressional districts because of the demographics, population size in the state. I know you are white. The bottom line is America has changed, Van told Dale Jackson. The state of Alabama has changed, and the Supreme Court in Allen v. Milligan ruled in 2023 that there are nearly 30% African Americans, black people, in the state of Alabama, and because of that, we are due representation in Congress, period. The case that the Supreme Court ruled on 2 weeks ago gutted the 65 Voting Rights Act with the pre-clearance issues that had already been chopped up and gutted in 6 with the holding decision. The bottom line is it's plantation politics. Fascinating. But again, like her point there is like, well, this is what exactly Clarence Thomas called out, that Section 2 cases would end up being about proportional arguments. And if we believe in individual rights in this country, if you're entitled because of your race to a certain proportional political power representation, that flies against all sorts of, say, well, ideas of regarding individuals being protected, equal protection under the law, not groups. But she says this. Let me close with this. It's about numbers. Whether we will have 7-0, that means all white, red Republicans, 5-2 with Congresswoman Sewells and Shamari Figures, or we will be back to 6-1, back to at least having the Congresswoman. Gavan added, y'all do the math. The math right here ain't mathin'.
Ain't mathin'?
Mm-hmm.
Mathin' or mathin'?
Mathin'.
Mathin'.
Math, I-N-G. Anyway. Just more from, I still love the woman. I really
think she's
do,
an interesting person. I spoke with her. I find her to be interesting. I think she has, she's, for whatever reason, doubling down to look like a leader, but I think she's probably not speaking for a large group of who she thinks she's speaking for in her demographics.
Yeah, but again, I kind of want a political party that'll want to win. Not a political party that wants to hurt other people.
No.
Well, a political party that wants to win, not people that represent their values and their point of view. And we'll see. We'll see. It'll probably go back to 6-1. But see, to me, that's what undermines a lot of the rhetoric that's now coming out. It's like, yeah, we're going back to 6-1. That was there for years.
Right.
And we're acting like we're now saying plantation politics, Anglo-Saxon, we get a whole history lesson on.
This is what the liberals do. This is what the liberals do.
And it's like, okay, so we're just.
This shouldn't surprise
This never
anybody.
goes away?
Shouldn't surprise. Well, I think it'll happen. But I honestly, you said something. You said you think it's going to go 6-1. I think it's going to go 7-0.
Oh, down the road. It'll go 7-0.
Well, I'm talking about with. Here's what I'm thinking. I spoke with Morgan Murphy and Jack, and here's what they're being I think, told and interpreting, that Thomas is going to put the hammer down because they didn't go through all these machinations and all these maneuverings to get a 6-1. They're going to get a 7-0. And I think it's going to happen, but that's just me. So
in this cycle.
Yeah, like there's going to be, I'll explain it to you offline. It's pretty complicated, but this is coming down from the White House and from people that are in the know that there is a plan of extrication for this cycle coming up for 7-0 districts. So,
and I'm in support of that. But, maybe if we want to make a deal, like, hey, Massachusetts, let some Republicans actually join Congress from your state.
Did you see what Ohio? Virginia, we know what they did. Ohio and there was another big state that Jack and I were talking about yesterday. Ohio and I think it was, I'm wanting to say it was Illinois. They're looking at redistricting too, which could gain another 5 to 20 seats. So there could be a pretty strong majority in the House of Representatives come 2026.
Well, and by the way, I missed a certain part of the earlier episode with Trump in the Oval Office.
Yeah, what happened?
With Senator Brett. Apparently there was a whole moment where he praises her, stresses their relationship in the Oval. It was like a big kumbaya moment.
That's great. That's why you let her talk so long.
So let's listen into this. Because it's,
it's near and dear to our hearts.
Because somebody at Red Wave Press on X said, hilarious. So it's only a 40-second
clip. He always remains loyal to me.
Yeah, I know. It's like one of his backhanded
It's like the Godfather.
things.
I know I can trust you.
Yeah, one day I'll call.
That's right. One day I'll make that call.
Anyway, let's listen.
Katie Britt, she's the one that got me into this, I have to tell you. I hope she always remains loyal to me so I can continue to support her. I would hate to go against her. That will never happen, Katie, right?
That's right, sir.
But to say just a few words, she's really a fantastic woman. She's a great senator. And I got lucky. I was supporting somebody else, and then I realized that the somebody else wasn't very good. And I said, who's that young woman I met that was so impressive? They say, her name is Katie Britt. I said, let me talk to her. I talked to her. I endorsed her. She won in a landslide. And you've been winning in landslides ever since. So.
That's a pretty
That's
good
awesome,
moment.
man.
But I always love his backhanded.
Katie Britt, she's the one that got me into this, I have to tell you. I hope she always remains loyal to me so I can continue to support her.
So I can continue to support her.
I would hate to go against her. That will never happen, Katie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's always a little subtext of Trump. That's funny.
He is
pretty funny.
He's always on. He's always just he's in constant motion. His
That's a
engine's
good
always
moment.
running.
That's a good moment. And I can't even imagine the personal politics of relationships at that high of a level.
Come on, man.
It's got to be crazy.
It is a toxicity. DC possesses a toxicity that cannot be quantified or qualified. What I mean is, I've never seen a city that's so packed from 8 to 4, and then come 5 o'clock, it levels out. There's nobody there. It's a weird place, and the culture of being a politico, of being a government employee, of being a politician, it's a subculture. It really is a subculture. It's the best way to describe it.
334-272-9228. That's 272-9228. Let's see who this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
This would normally be Crawdad, but right now I'm going by the name Pest.
Pest.
Yes, Pest. I am the Pest. So I wanted to know, you guys could do, I'm going to listen, but I ask a question. There have been a lot of people who are Americans that are self-made despite anything that got in their way. I want to ask your opinions about Colin Powell, then I'm going to listen because he worked very hard to get where he went. Mm-hmm. And I think at some point, though, that he might have had a little gas concerning politics. So I'm going to listen because I want to hear about this. You guys, thank you very much.
I have a personal story about him and his son. So it passed to Crawdad. I served with his son in the 3rd Infantry Division, Colin Powell Jr. He was in the 3rd Infantry Spartan Brigade with me when we went across the berm. I got to meet him, his beautiful wife, and him on multiple occasions. I've had dinner with Colin Powell. Not a better American, was there? He was a man. He was truly him and Eric Shinseki. If you remember the Asian general that the Army had about that time frame, 2 outstanding men of character. And I can tell you this: shame on Rumsfeld, shame on Cheney, shame on Bush for sending him out to do dirty work and then just cutting him out under the rug. He was done after that. His wife
about to say
his
that.
wife, I know this for a fact, his wife said, "You are done playing these games. We can't trust him."
No, if that hadn't happened, in front of the UN,
I think
he would have been president.
I believe he would have been the first black president, no doubt in my mind. Yeah.
Yep. But
they
talk about how they
man.
screwed him.
Not a
They
greater man you'll
screwed him
find.
over, yeah. No, and you do see, these are so many examples of Americans who are succeeding, regardless of background, and sometimes in spite of background. Sometimes a little difficulty actually adds an edge to you that makes you better. And in fact, it's something I've been thinking about more, not only in my own life, just in general, that I think we should all thank God for the trials that we have.
Amen.
They make us better when we respond to them in the right way. The worst suffering, even, at least we are sharing in the same suffering heart of our Lord and Savior. And so, we do live in a society that likes to talk about our grievances and our problems and our suffering. And then when you start reading a little American history, which I've just started back up doing as we're getting close to the 250th anniversary, you realize how good we have it.
Oh, man, are you kidding me?
How soft, you've made this point, how soft we are. Well, even you're not a soft person, I'll put it that way.
But I live in
imagine
relative comfort.
Could you imagine compare yourself to, say, guys that are in the Mexican-American War in the 1800s?
No, man. Listen, or the Civil War. Listen, there's all these things, but you're right, Joey. we take it for granted that, like clean water, at your faucet today, everybody, you turn it on, you just assume it's clean. But the rest of the world's not that way, man. And Joey, how do you? My question to you is, what do you do to honor that? And I think you've been spot on with all you're right. Thank you, God. It's about grace. It's about giving praise.
With gratitude, yeah. And I mean, also, not letting your pride get the better of you, essentially.
Yeah.
Like where it becomes. It was a meditation I was reading. I think it's St. John of the Cross, St. John of Avila, where he talks about the person that is still connected to like worldly things.
Yep.
And then here's a simple example. He goes through a whole litany of different things people are attached to. But just talking about like wealth, he said there are people who are very poor, don't have anything, but they're sort of greedy in spirit. They think the wealth will be what actually makes them succeed. And then there are people that possess a great deal. He mentions King David, who actually understand if I could lose everything tomorrow and still be perfectly, have everything, that those who have God lack nothing. Right. And there's a lot of that plays out. Sometimes you see a person that got successful because they are cutthroat and they've done some nasty things. And sometimes you see, though, a person, the reason they've succeeded in life is because they understand they possess something more valuable than anything they could grab in this life.
This is true.
And those people are the ones that are truly stellar. Like, and, I don't know what Elon Musk, for instance, believes, but you look at, like, why does he have so much money? Is because, well, look at how he uses the money in many ways. Now, is he spending on some stupid stuff? I'm sure. But generally, the folks that are rewarded are the ones that are always putting it back into innovation, putting it back into charitable work, putting it back in. And a lot of folks, I think, are broke because they have the wrong mentality about what, say, money and wealth is. And it's just a matter of not just beyond money and wealth, but any sort of worldly possession and material need. When you have that detachment, like you could lose everything and still be all right. And heck, God might test you if you keep talking about it enough. I'm saying that, very advisedly. But those are the folks that end up doing all right in this world.
Well, you're warned in the good book that don't live in this world and of this world, right? Be separate from this world. Your kingdom comes, and it's hard when you're a man of clay, a cup built to spill, as I say. We all fall to our own weaknesses, but it's good to. That's why it's good for brothers and sisters to share with each other, to build and to strengthen, and that's one of the things I enjoy about coming in here on Monday and Fridays.
Well, we got to hit a break. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Bowen Road. With over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Hey Biscuits fans, the 2026 season at Davos Park is packed with fun all summer long. Don't miss exciting giveaways, theme nights, and spectacular Max fireworks shows throughout the year. Enjoy weekly favorites like Tacos and Tallboys on Tuesdays, 334 nights on Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, and family-friendly Sundays with Bark in the Park and Low Crumbs giveaways. Plus, special events, community nights, and more make every game unique. For tickets and more information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com or call the box office at 323-BALL.
Hey, this is Lyle from Margaret's Exquisite Jewelry, and I do my radio advertising on Blue Water. I'll tell you what, I use most of the stations, and I've been using it for so long. It's hard to tell with the money you spend on advertising if it does any good. When they come in and say, I heard you on the radio, I know it's Blue Water, and I love Blue Water.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. Closing segment here of the program. And we have guests. The show flies by, Troy.
Man, it's really went fast today.
But I thought Case was great. I thought Dr. Tankersley was
it's always
great.
good, yeah.
And, well, let's go to Ray Bowles with Pryville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I am good, and good news. I was able to hug Jane on Sunday morning instead of just waving at her.
Beautiful.
That's good.
Did she have a good birthday?
She had a great birthday. Now, Mark did text me yesterday and said they're going out of town at some point, but I'm not sure whether. I bet they go to Georgia to see her sister. And,
Yeah.
when do y'all have Mark back in the studio again?
I was about to say next Wednesday, I think.
Next Wednesday. One of these days I need to stop in while he's there.
Yes.
And just really harass him.
Spend the
while
whole
he's
hour with
there.
us. It'd be fun.
Yeah. I think I could pull up a chair right beside him, and he can show me his videos the whole time.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, I think he'd get a kick out of that, man.
He would get a great kick out of that. But I tell you, we have been busy as bees today. It has been something. If you are in need of any kind of flooring, call us. 285-8117. We'll come out and give you a free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down.
Really is that simple, folks. Again, that number's 285-8117. And, they're fun folks, easy folks to work with as well. Like this fellow you hear on the airwaves, he's the one hiring folks and put together a team. They really are great people.
Now, I did make a mistake. I hired 2 kids for the summer. I like hiring college kids during the summer.
Yeah.
And it's Eli, and Elias. And I've known Elias forever. Now I'm confusing the names, and I'm like, hey, Elias. Eli, you. So I just told them we're going to start calling them double E's.
The double E's.
Eli
and Elias.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll be out of town Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so if you don't get me, you'll have to do that for me. Remember, we're going to go see the banana hammocks.
The banana hammocks?
No, it's banana, the baseball team.
The Savannah Bananas.
It's Savannah. That's it. I keep calling them.
I was a little worried about you there for a second.
I thought you were going to a mail review or something. I was getting a little concerned there.
You going to a European beach?
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah. Are you following Eddie around on the beach?
Well, I landed 5 tickets, so Sailor and 2 of our buddies are going, and I think we talked Emma and Jacob to drive down, and we will babysit our grandbaby instead of going.
Sounds like
I
fun.
said, please throw me in that briar patch.
That's awesome.
Y'all go enjoy the baseball game and let me take care of the baby. I'm all on board for that.
Amen. Well,
but if I don't answer the phone, y'all have to do that for me.
I think we can manage, and I'll talk to you tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Y'all have a great day.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Ron. So we're getting to the close of the show, and I asked, did we learn anything today?
If she said we partied, then I'm pretty sure we partied. I really don't remember. I remember we departed from our body and woke up in Ybor City.
What are you quoting there?
It's the brand. I've told you about it, the Hold Steady. I think you would like
the
them.
Hold Steady.
It's called Pensacola Parties. It's a good song.
Ooh.
I think you would like it. It's very, they're very, very, I'll show it to you sometime.
I'll definitely have to check
He also
that out.
said it started recreational, ended up kind of medical. And it started in a vestibule, ended up at NYU Medical. He's got a lot of great lyrics.
That's pretty awesome. Well, things we didn't get into today.
Yeah.
Like Netanyahu saying, I want to draw down U.S. financial aid from $4 billion to $0. Told 60 Minutes that. So, the 2 million boomers that still watch that saw that. Democrats are really upset about the Virginia Supreme Court. And you know what the crazy Hail Mary scheme is?
Yes, the Hail Mary concept.
What they're going to try to do in order to fight back against the Supreme Court. And I don't think they should do it because it's so, and maybe they will, the audacity is change the retirement age to where all the judges will have to retire. There's this whole New York Times write-up of Hakeem Jeffries is kind of desperate. Yeah.
He's lost listen, he'll never be the same after Virginia. Yeah. He will never be the same after Virginia.
And we didn't get to Spencer Pratt, who's kicking butt.
We were busy. We had good guests today. We had good guests today.
But like, for instance, Spencer Pratt, he's running for Los Angeles mayor.
I know, he's cool.
And he's freaking
Show that
great.
video where he's like Batman.
No, I don't have it ready.
man.
But here is he was listening, being interviewed by Friedberg from the All In, like all the Billionaires Club over there. Yeah, I don't know how much they're detached from worldly desires over there at the All In podcast. So they seem like good guys. But this is just like refreshing to hear somebody running for a major town, our second major city in the United States. Don't want it to fall to the socialists. Let's listen in to Spencer Pratt.
I keep trying to tell everyone that, they try to put me in a box. I didn't run to be a political party. I didn't run to be a politician. I ran because I experienced what city leadership failure at the ultimate level is. That's why I stepped up. That's what cuts through. So the media and everyone wants to jump on and be like, oh, Spencer's our guy. No, I'm the citizen. I'm the angry taxpayer. You can be a Democrat and love me. You can be a Republican and love me. The only people that don't love me are communists and socialists, and I don't want them to love me.
I like this guy. Yeah. He's probably got enough. I think there's enough anger in those communities out there that they could rise up.
I would hope so.
They should.
And but we'll see. And to have you already got Mondami in New York City.
Yeah, how's that working for him?
Like it just because Bass is weak, maybe it's the other person that actually ends up
maybe
taking it. But I don't know. I admit I've never been to Los Angeles, and as much as I'd like to visit anywhere, and I'm sure there's beautiful spots.
I've lived there for a year with Uncle.
You told me
it's crazy.
Devils everywhere out there.
There's devils everywhere, and it's very expensive. So
let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Soldier Boy, real quick.
All right.
Hey. Explain to me, if we're self-sufficient on fuel, as Mr. Trump says, that we don't need to import any oil, why is the gas prices being so radical when we have our own damn gas? The only persons that should be affected
because we're
is
selling to the whole
Europeans.
world. Because it's a global market, we sell to the world. So if you can't get it going through the Strait of Hormuz, you come over to America and buy it, and it's up to the price.
So we're selling it to them, but why doesn't, for example, why doesn't the governor suspend the gas tax? Do something.
Well, we got roads to build, sugar. I'm with you.
It goes so deep, Soldier Boy. It goes to the oil companies that are getting all-time record profits right now, but they're not going to yield. This is opportunity, man. It's Aramco, Saudi Arabia is making 25%.
Don't we have laws for gouging? I thought we had a state law with that and a federal law about gouging, taking advantage of raising the price of gas. It's like somebody selling generators just before a hurricane hits and then trying to sell them for double the price. It's the same thing.
It's the same reason why microreactors and nuclear reactors will be opposed emphatically by the oil industry. They do not want to give out Tesla-like free electricity.
Well,
and that's the problem.
One thing, too. They want to go against fusion. They're trying to cut fusion power left and right, the technology. Nobody wants that. And
Soldier Boy, we're out of time.
Good call.
We're out of
run.
time.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Later.
Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow.
It's true.
Anyway, we got happy hours next.
Yes, it is. I hope everybody's happy.
Yeah, I hope Greg's doing well.
Happy.
Greg was struggling.
Greg's always happy.
What are you talking about?
I'm just trying. I hope he's listening. He's happy.
Okay. All right. Virginia Slim, you mean?
Yeah, Virginia Slim.
I had to clarify.
That cigar I gave him.
Y'all stay tuned. Happy hours next. Thanks, Troy.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy,